CKND, Winnipeg TV. If the desert is supposed to be a wasteland, then why is it everyone is going there? This week it's the NFL and the Super Bowl, and the PGA with the Phoenix Open that have warmed to the desert climate. This past weekend, the citizens of Arizona opened their arms to welcome the Jets to their community. Phoenix and the America West Arena will be the new home of the Jets after this season, the season to remember here in Winnipeg. On their return to a frigid practice rink, things are heating up as the Jets are about to begin their drive to the playoffs. And they'll get there if Javi Bullen continues to stare down opponents, if Alexei Zhamnov stays mad, if Keith Tkachuk can continue to lead by example, if Numanen, the anchor of the Blue Line core, doesn't wear down, and if Teemu Selanne can break free of some tight checking, the Jets will reverse a trend and see the postseason. Tonight, the Jets look to take flight and zero in on a playoff spot as they host the Blues live on CKND, Winnipeg TV. Molson Jets Hockey on CKND, Winnipeg TV is brought to you by Molson Canadian.
Players need to understand, I think Mr. Colangelo mentioned the other day, and our owners have mentioned it to me, that this organization and team has had too many excuses for years and years about not doing good. And some of it has been maybe justifiable from arena and where you're going to be and stuff. But they want to emphasize that there isn't any more excuses. And if the players want to be part of what they thought would look like a pretty good thing down there in a short time, they better perform, or else there's more chance they won't be part of it.
Turning a negative into a positive, that's what the move of the Jets to Phoenix could turn out to be if it inspires the team to make the playoffs and win a round or two once they get there. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Molson Jets Hockey on CKND Winnipeg TV. I'm Joe Pascucci. This is the first game for the Jets since the All-Star game, and prior to the break, they were on a bit of a high. A tie in Washington and a win over the Maple Leafs in Toronto. Tonight's game against the St. Louis Blues, an important one for both clubs. They're tied for 5th in the Western Conference standings with 44 points. The winner moves away from the pack. The loser stays close, and watch out for those Flames and Oilers. They both went into the All-Star break on winning streaks. With more on tonight's game between the Jets and the Blues, here's Kurt Kielbach and Kerry Wilson.
Okay, Joe, hello again. Kerry, you had a long career in the NHL. These guys have just gone through the All-Star break. Are they rejuvenated, ready to go again?
They are definitely, Kurt. It's an exciting time for the players to come back after a break like this. They're excited about playing. They're excited about getting back and really looking at the finish to the season. They can see the light at the end of the tunnel now as the standings start to take shape.
One of the guys I know who has impressed you has been Norm McIver.
Well, he's been a super addition to this club. Filled some real holes that this club had. Quarterbacking the power play, the Jets needed a player like Norm McIver. He's done that, and he's also super in defense, carrying the puck out of his own end.
And a guy who's been just about everywhere and is now toiling for Mike Keenan is Jeff Courtnall.
Well, Mike Keenan is looking for a little bit more offense from some of the other players besides Brett Hull. Jeff Courtnall is one of the players he's looking for to come up, do a little bit more offense, score some goals, and finish strong at the end of the year.
You know, one of the things that the St. Louis Blues probably lack a little bit is some team cohesion, because they just don't have the same team as they started the season with.
You know, Kurt, Al McGinnis was saying earlier today that they might as well put a turnstile on the door of the dressing room. That's how fast the changes have been happening with the players. It's tough to pull together as a cohesive unit. They're going to look to do this in the last 35 games of the season.
Okay, we'll see how things go tonight. The Winnipeg Jets and the St. Louis Blues are standing by for the opening face-off here on CKND, Winnipeg TV.
Molson Jets Hockey on CKND is brought to you in part by the home of the Big Buy, Jim Coche Chevol's Geo Cadillac.
In today's world of beers, Molson Dry's in a world all its own.
Dad, you worked late.
Oh, all night. You need any help?
No.
Good, because I'm too tired.
true.
Dad!
I know that you'll always come through.
Thought you could use some help.
Thanks.
If you're like me, you know the importance of contributing to your RSP. It's one of the most significant financial decisions any of us can make. And that's why you should consider investing with CI mutual funds. At CI, you can choose from a range of 20 Canadian and international funds. And you have the assurance that your RSP will be managed by some of the most respected money managers in the world. Now, your financial advisor knows CI mutual funds. All you have to do is ask.
What's the matter? Couldn't you sleep?
Did you think I wouldn't find out?
Is this about the ring I gave you? Listen, a cubic zirconia looks just like a real diamond. Is this about my time in prison?
You drank the last of the milk.
Forces Base Winnipeg Air Command singing the national anthems conducted by Major Gaetan Boucher and the soloist Sergeant Vandenbroek. In goal tonight for the St. Louis Blues will be the marathon man, Grant Fuhr. He has started all 46 games, and he may well start 82 of 82 from Mike Keenan's crew. And when we left you a week ago, the Jets were winning in Toronto 24 hours after tying in Washington. Those 3 points directly attributable to the return to the lineup of Nikolai Habibulin. He's 7 games over 500 on a team that's 2 games under. And the head bandit tonight is Richard Trottier, his henchman Dan Shakti, and Wayne Bonney. The 4th meeting of the season between these divisional rivals. The St. Louis Blues won the first 2 by counts of 3-2 and 4-1. And just prior to Christmas, the Jets managed a 2-1 victory.
Well, the scratches tonight, you see most of the Jets have a healthy squad. Quinton and Shannon scratched on defense, and Randy Gillen on St. Louis. A number of injuries. Eakins, Gilbert, McCray, Creighton, and Zezel all on the injury list. Sawyer and Chase, numbers game, have been scratched.
These clubs are tied in the standings in the Western Conference. Coach Mike Keenan, what a lot of changes, as we mentioned off the start, he's made to this hockey club in one season.
Well, he has. It's like Al McGinnis said earlier this morning, that they might as well put a turnstile on the door. Al McGinnis was saying he's got 70 games played with St. Louis Blues and finds himself 4th on the list in seniority. That gives you an idea of how much movement there's been on this team. Makes it very difficult for a team to pull together as a cohesive unit.
However, Mike Keenan, 10 for 10 as far as his team making the playoffs. And, of course, the coach of the Winnipeg Jets is Terry Simpson.
Well, Terry Simpson focusing tonight on getting his players focused after this break and a lot of excitement down in Phoenix. He's got to pull the minds of these players off the golf course tonight and put it onto the ice surface.
So Shane Corson and Alexei Shamnov await the opening of this hockey game. They've had a bit of a delay here to start things off because of the carpets and that sort of thing that had to be brought out for the CFB band and their anthem. Shane Corson and Alexei Shamnov. Puck goes back to the blue line, and the St. Louis Blues, McInnes takes it out to center ice, flips it high. Habibulin drops it in behind the net. Malgunas tried it for Drake. Drake trying to get it out, stopped there by Hull. Drake and Hull tying up along the boards. Puck goes free. McInnes had to go off his skates and drives it back into the Jet zone. Habibulin leaves it there for Malgunas, for Newman. Tried it ahead for Tkachuk. Left for Shamnov. Shamnov's pass, rink wide. Here's Drake with Tkachuk. Drake tried to pass it to Tkachuk. Now it's the shot goal. Loose puck. Drake goes after it again. Corson Dropped it aside. It's sent out over center ice, and with it is Corson. All wide to his right. Corson dumps it in. Rebound. And Zhamnov has it there. Gives to Tkachuk. Tkachuk's pass goes to Drake. Drake with Zhamnov. Here's Drake's shot. And he hammered it wide. Penalty coming up to the St. Louis Blues. 52 seconds into the action.
Well, you see some good skating here by Zhamnov. He drives right through the middle like a centerman should do. Al McGinnis had no choice but to try and get a stick on him and slow him down, and gets called for a hooking penalty.
So the Jets' power play was producing at a tremendous clip prior to their last road trip, which was successful in producing 3 or 4 points. Get the opportunity to see it function now.
Well, you see a specialty team comparison here. The Winnipeg power play has been extremely solid since Norm McIver's joined the team, ranking 2nd in the NHL. St. Louis penalty killing in the middle of the pack at 9th.
Zhamnov is up front with Tkachuk and Solani, the big three. McIver is back with Newman. McIver has it now. Looks for Zhamnov. Zhamnov trying to flip it loose, gets it to McIver. McIver over for Solani. Solani waits, looks back to the point. McIver gives to Newman, and traffic in front. Gives to Zhamnov. Tkachuk is stationed in front. Newman and shot. That's blocked. Loose puck round by Kravchuk, and he dumps it the distance. Courtnall with an eye on Newman. Flip back to McIver. McIver watched by Hull. Hull has 5 shorthanded goals for the Blues. Here's Tkachuk, moves to center ice. Dumps it in. Solani goes in after it. Trying it over for Tkachuk. Back it goes to Newman. He gives to McIver. In for Zhamnov. He can't find it. Leaves it now for Newman. Tried for Tkachuk. He bobbled it. Pronger trying to clear. Newman holds it. Puts it back into the corner. Kravchuk missed it. Here's Tkachuk with it now. Tkachuk leaves it for Zhamnov. Here's Tkachuk in front, knocked away by Pronger. Now with it, Newman to McIver. Traffic in front. McIver lets it go. Deflected by Tkachuk. Big save, Pure. Here's Zhamnov with it. Back to the blue line, McIver. McIver pokes it in deep. Knocked down and cleared away by the St. Louis Blues. 37 seconds left in the penalty to McInnes. McIver to Solani. Solani knocked off the puck heavily by Wells. And the puck is dumped all the way down the ice. Here's Korolev with it now. In deep for McIver. McIver watched by Courtnall. Gives it to Eddie Olczyk, who moves it to center ice. Olczyk's long shot, handled by Fjord. Dropped aside to Wells. He sends it off the glass and all the way down. Back for Winnipeg. The only Shannon dress tonight. Defenseman Darrell looks ahead to center ice to Korolev. McInnes is out of the penalty box. Korolev gains the line. Looks in front. His shot. That's blocked. Now knocked in behind. Olczyk with it. He sends it back to the Stapleton. Stapleton in for Olczyk. Behind the net, Korolev. Korolev gets it, tried to get it back to Stapleton. It went by him, and Grant Fuhr covers up. This is your Molson Hockey Telecast.
Winter's here, and it's time to ask yourself, does your battery have the juice to get you started when you really need it? Do your tires have the traction you need for slippery situations? Only Canadian Tire offers MotoMaster batteries and tires to get you going in any situation. All at the everyday low prices you'd expect from Canada's automotive store. Canadian Tire. There's a lot more for your car for a lot less.
Well, Norm McIver, we talked about what a solid addition he was to the power play for the Winnipeg Jets. You see how he lugs the puck up the ice. When you talk about a quarterback for a power play, it's not just standing at the blue line taking shots on the net. You see him come up the ice here. He's involved in the play 3 times, stays on his blue line, gets the puck back, and we saw earlier on the power play that he also, takes some great shots from the point and reads the play with Tkachuk in front of the net. but also it's really important for this guy to quarterback this power play. He played about 1:50 on that, and you're going to look, Terry Simpson's going to look to see him to do a lot for this power play the rest of the season.
Dean Corson is out with Stefan Matteau and Brett Hall, the forward line for the St. Louis Blues. Turcotte between King and Gene Doan back in the lineup tonight for the Winnipeg Jets. Now Turcotte puts it rink wide. It's picked up, dumped out to center ice. With it there, Malgunas gives to Turcotte, and he drives it high and out of play.
Well, Al McGinnis is, who started his career in Calgary, has really gained tremendous respect for his slap shot. You'll notice when he's on the power play tonight, the teams, Winnipeg, the players will stay close to him so he doesn't get an opportunity to really wind up. But he's really adjusted his game in that format and learned to use the players around him much more.
How often did you stand in front of the net when you were playing with him, when he was letting that thing go?
You don't want to do that too often.
Here's Turcotte. Try the pass for King. It's got off now. McKinnon starts back. Dumps it all the way down the ice. Off the backboard. Malgunas and Corson wrap each other. Here's a drive by Twist. Rebound. And it's poked wide. Now Newman and tried it for King. It's kept in at the point. Hall goes after it with Doan. Hall gets it out front to Twist. It goes free to Doan. Doan puts it off the boards. And McKinnon back at center ice. He dumps it in. Hall goes after it. Takes a shot. Hababulin missed it. They score. Twist on the rebound. Nikolai Hababulin lost sight of the puck between his feet, and it was an easy one for Tony Twist.
Well, a tough one for Nikolai. A bit of a miscue. St. Louis has started off just dumping things towards the net. Brett Hull comes in. He shows you you direct things at the net. You never know what's going to happen. Nikolai has a tough time when his legs, it pops loose, and Tony Twist on the doorstep just bangs it in an empty net. I mean, it goes to show you here, St. Louis just keeps directing things towards the net, and anything can happen. An unfortunate incident, something that we'll see how Winnipeg adjusts to this now. Do they sink, or do they get themselves right back in the game immediately?
First goal of the year for Tony Twist. Hall and McInnes draw the assists. 1-0 St. Louis at 3:53. Here's McIver to Shamnov. Shamnov looks over to Tkachuk. Pass goes off him. Noonan sends it back into his own zone. And with it there, Kravchuk puts it ahead. Stopped by Tkachuk for Drake. Drake tied up. It's dumped out to center. And with it there is Finley. Dumped into the St. Louis zone. Pronger takes it in behind his net. Gets it over to Kravchuk. The former Oiler sends it up the middle to Hudson. The former Leaf dumps it into the Jet zone. Shamnov chased there now. Noonan falls quite easily. Shamnov can't clear. Matteau shot. Rebound. Another shot. Shamnov comes up with it and starts away for Winnipeg. Shamnov with Drake and Tkachuk. Shamnov trying to dance through. Had it taken away. Kravchuk trying to clear. It's kept by Shamnov. Puts it into Drake. Out for Tkachuk. It goes off him. Pronger wrapped it around on the glass, and it goes all the way down the ice. Nearing the 5-minute mark of the opening period. 1-0. The St. Louis Blues lead it.
Well, we take a look here. Shamnov, he does a good job of checking St. Louis off the puck, but then dumps it out in front. That's where Winnipeg's got to go around the boards with it. If you're not absolutely sure, don't go up the middle. Go around the boards and up. Most of the time, if the puck gets coughed up there, you're not going to find yourself in trouble. This is something Winnipeg has done a little bit too often over the season, and Terry Simpson wants to close that down a bit.
Here's Korolev. Works along the boards. Now Howardchuk picks it up for St. Louis. Dumps it out towards center ice. Puck goes free. With it now, Newman into the middle for Solani. Followed up by Korolev. Puts it into the zone. And back with it for the St. Louis Blues is Murray Barrett. Puts it on the right side, McInnes. His lead pass goes by Howardchuk right down on Hababulin. He puts it into the corner. Howardchuk is there. Now it goes to Shannon. Around for Olczyk. And the puck goes all the way down. McInnes goes back for it. 6-1. The Blues have outshot the Jets. 1-0. The Blues lead the Jets on a goal by Tony Twist. Now Korolev trying to knock it ahead for Solani. Solani puts it back now to Malgunas. Dumped into the St. Louis zone as he takes a hit from Howardchuk. McInnes takes it in behind the net. McInnes looks ahead to center. taken by Roberts on the left side. Here's Courtnall cutting it. He scored! Jeff Courtnall had some room and made it count.
Well, St. Louis is really moving the puck well. Al McGinnis steps out from the side of his post, spots St. Louis right up the middle. He passes it across to Jeff Courtnall. He comes in, and he's got the mark. He's got Norm draped all over him. Still gets the shot away and catches the far corner. Manages to hold the puck long enough to get, I think Nicky opened his legs up a little bit there, and Jeff Courtnall ended up throwing it in 5-hole.
Well, the 12th goal of the season, as you said off the opening, it's the kind of contribution they're going to need, the Blues, if they're going to make a run for it here in the final portion of the year. Now McIver gets it ahead to Stapleton. He gets it back to McIver. McIver up the middle for Eastwood. Eastwood dumps it into the St. Louis zone. Pino goes after it deep. Puts it into the corner. Johnson tied up by McIver. And the Blues trying to get out. Unable to clear it as Wells. Now it goes to Malgunas of the Jets. 2-0. The Blues lead. 6.5 minutes into the opening period. Puck is dumped deep. Wells goes after it. Puts it into the corner. Here's King. Tried it out in front. Knocked on McIver. Stapleton hit the post. He scored! Eastwood. Stapleton hit the post of the crossbar, and Eastwood pounced on it and put it home.
Well, a good, hard-working goal by the so-called checking line of the Winnipeg Jets. They're directing everything at the net. You see Stapleton take a shot, dings it off the crossbar, but there's Mike Eastwood on the doorstep, managed to stay up on his feet long enough to get a piece of the puck and dump it in behind Grant Fuhr. An extremely solid, hard-working goal by that whole line.
Only 42 seconds after the Blues, Courtnall made it 2-0. The Jets come back and a goal by Mike Eastwood. Well, when the Blues were here just prior to Christmas, after the Jets scored a goal, Keenan changed netminders, but that's not going to happen this time, apparently. Safeway shoppers take note. Colin Hay of Winnipeg entered Score and Win at Safeway and included a label from Kraft Singles. Congratulations, Colin. You've won an IBM Aptiva multimedia computer.
Well, we have another look at it there off the crossbar from Stapleton. Mike Eastwood doing a tremendous job in there, staying on his feet, just whacking and hacking. I can't even tell if it went off the stick or went off a piece of his body, but it doesn't matter. The importance of standing on that doorstep, you never know what kind of rebound you're going to pick off.
Puck is dumped into the Jet zone. Here's Tkachuk. Puts it behind the net to Finley. Tried it for Drake. Drake is knocked off. Now Corson. And his shot blocked. It goes in behind. Oh, looks out in front and Mattel feeds it. Save. Avabolan. Rebound cleared around on the boards. Now Tkachuk tries to clear. It's stopped in the center ice area by Kravchuk to Corson. Dumped into the Jet zone. Avabolan leaves it there for Shannon. Around now for Drake. Drake's pass picked off by Hull. Dumped in behind. Here's Matteau. Out front for Corson. Jemnov intercepts. Tries it for Drake. Back it goes. Corson shot. Not much on it. It goes wide. Tkachuk with it now. Gets it to Shannon. Tried it for Jemnov. Cut off by Pronger. Shannon comes up with it. Gains the line. Looks across. 3 Jets going at the net. The pass behind the ball. And Matteau starts back. Gets to center. Jemnov back to knock it away. Hull knocked off the puck by Drake. Now Hull goes after it again. Hull drops it off. Here's Corson. He's all alone. His mates are changing. And with it now, Olczyk. Gets it outside the zone. Solani after it. Over to Newman. Newman back to Solani. For Olczyk to Solani. Check by McInnes. McInnes drives it into the Jet zone. Courtnall after it deep. Trying to center. Blocked by Newman. And here comes Solani with Olczyk and Korolev. Gives to Olczyk. Over to Korolev. His centering effort off the stick of Olczyk wide. And with it is Courtnall. Coming back to center, looks across. Pass knocked away by Malgunas. To Olczyk. To Solani. Trying to work by Barron. Here's Solani's shot. And the save by Fuhr. Good pass by Malgunas. Good effort by Solani. Big save by Fuhr. Back to get it is Manson. Deep in his zone for Winnipeg. Around for Olczyk. Olczyk's pass cut off. Now it goes to the side. McIver can't handle it. It's in behind the Jet net. Noonan takes it to the corner. Noonan crowded by McIver. Howard's up. Tied up by Olczyk. Johnson goes after it. Now Noonan. Nobody in front. Noonan takes a look. 2 in front now. His shot. Redirected. Olczyk knocks into the corner. Noonan with it. Noonan looks back to Dino. Elects to hold on. Dumps it deep. In with it there is Johnson. He centers. Hawerchuk scores! Right over the shoulder of Hammerbulen.
Well, St. Louis is moving the puck around extremely well. The St. Louis player, I'm not sure who that was, gets it in front to Hawerchuk, and he's got the touch. Craig Johnson gets it out to Hawerchuk. Now, Hawerchuk's got the touch. The Jets have got to do a better job of taking the players in front of the net. So far, they continue to outman the Winnipeg players in front of the net, and they're getting the second and third chances. That's something that Winnipeg's going to have to tighten up on, or the score is going to get out of hand.
Tim Cheveldae is now between the pipes for the Winnipeg Jets, with the St. Louis Blues having a 3-1 lead, nearing the midway mark of the opening period. Here's Turcotte, moves to center ice. He dumps it into the Blues corner. Going after it is Hudson. Around to the other side, and with it there for the Blues is Broughton. Gets it outside the zone. Roberts stopped by Shannon. Puck goes free. Here's Hudson moving in. His shot blocked by Finley. Hudson behind the goal. Sends it back to the blue line. Wells. He knocks it in deep. Turcotte trying to pull it out. Gets it ahead to Doan. Doan moves to center ice, gives it to King. King gains the line, lets it go. Puck goes to the corner. Roberts. And just to haul King down. Now it goes to Broughton out at center. Dumped in. Cheveldae shovels it into the corner. Newman in with it. Newman in ahead for Eastwood. 3-1. St. Louis leads. Eastwood in deep, trying to work it in front. Checked by Kravchuk. It goes to the other side. And with it, Stefan Matteau. Lays for Kravchuk to Pronger. Pronger back too far from Matteau. Newman and drives it back in. Sure, hits in front. Carlin, he scored! Oh, they're scoring every which way tonight.
Well, a dump in from Teppo Newman, and Grant Fuhr couldn't have made a better pass onto the tape if he tried. Maybe that sort of evens things up between the first goal that St. Louis scored. You got to take the breaks when you get them. An unfortunate incident for Grant Fuhr, but it pays off in dividends for the Winnipeg Jets.
Well, Karen Danik of Winnipeg is a winner in our Squad on Win contest by attaching a ballot to a label from Old Dutch Twin Pack chips and entering it Safeway. Karen, you want to set the quality appliances from T-Foul. 3-2, and has just passed the midway mark of the first period. Korolev from Newman will be the scoring play. 3-2, the Blues lead it.
It's almost spring again, and you know what that means. Only Cadbury's Easter cream eggs have a thick shell of Cadbury's milk chocolate. On the inside, the creamy yellow yolk is surrounded by a delicious white filling. And for something a little different, there's also Cadbury's mini eggs. A delicious Cadbury's milk chocolate core wrapped in a candy shell. No bunny knows Easter like Cadbury.
They've met twice before on Super Sunday. Now they clash again. The Pittsburgh Steelers and the Dallas Cowboys renew old hostilities in a quest for the most coveted trophy in sports. And one game decides it all. Don't miss Super Bowl 30, live from Arizona. The pregame show's at 2:30, kickoffs at 5 on CKND, Winnipeg TV.
Well, we were wondering earlier just how Mike Eastwood put that goal in, if it bounced off a piece of his padding or if he did it himself. We take a look from a better angle here. He does get his body in position and turns and picks the puck right out of the air. Some pretty super hand-eye coordination from Mike Eastwood on that goal.
That was the goal that made it 2-1. It's now 3-2. St. Louis leads. Here's McInnes deep. He dumps it all the way down the ice, and going back to get it is Manson. And that's icing against the St. Louis Blues.
Well, we take a look at Tim Chevelday. You know, he came in when Habby Boulin was hurt and did a super job. Habby Boulin came back from his injuries, and even though Chevy was still on a roll, got put on the bench, but now he's getting another opportunity here. Hopefully that he's still riding the curl from his last outing.
Face-off down in the St. Louis Blues. The Blues have outshot the Jets 10-4 and outscored the Jets 3-2. You know, somebody asked me earlier today, somebody from St. Louis, what kind of game to expect tonight, and I said, well, with the way Fiora and Habby Boulin are going, should be a low-scoring game. Puck deep. Now it's dumped out to center ice. All the way down. Chevelday gives to Manson. Manson watched by Mateau. To Shamrock. Puts it rink wide. McIver. Ahead for Tkachuk. McKinnis back in his own zone. Sends it ahead to Hull. Hull's pass into the middle to Corson. Corson trying to work his way in front, surrounded by 5 Jets. And the puck goes to McIver. For Drake. To Tkachuk. Left there for Shamrock. Back for Tkachuk off the back of his stick. But it was offside anyway. 3-2, the Blues lead in the first.
Play Safeway Score and win. When the Jets score on CKND, you could win a set of quality appliances from Tefal. A 20-piece set of Mikasa fine china in the Currents pattern. A Gold Star Start Touch 2 VCR. Or a Texas Instruments personal organizer. You could also win a trip for 2 to Mazatlan, Mexico, courtesy of Canadian Holidays, Canada's largest vacation company. Safeway's participating products, Minute Maid frozen concentrated fruit punches, and Kraft dinner. Score and win at Safeway, today's better way.
At Vernos Auto Body, they know your car is more than just a car. It's one of your largest investments. And since you wouldn't let just anyone drive it, why would you let just anyone fix it? Vernos Auto Body has over 40 years experience utilizing only state-of-the-art equipment and the highest quality products. And now as a member of Auto Pro Collision, you can receive immediate financing through our National Auto Pro credit card to assist you in large repairs or simply help with your deductible. For your next auto body repair, trust all the work to Vernos Auto Body, setting the standard in auto body repair.
Shane Dawn is back after having sat out prior to the break with a groin injury. He'll be on with Joe Pascucci in the first intermission, and we'll also have a feature. Pete Peters, the Jet goaltending coach, talking about the Russian netminder Habby Boulin. Here's Korolev in the Blues corner, gives it to check a shot. Courtnall grabs the rebound and starts away. Moves to center ice, long shot. Chevelday covers up with Howardchuk hovering near. You got to know Dale Howardchuk's got to love playing back here at the Winnipeg Arena.
Well, you see Jeff Courtnall, he's turning up the heat a bit, which we talked about earlier, that he's got to pick up his game a bit since the first half. Mike Keenan is expecting more out of Jeff Courtnall so far tonight. If, you know, maybe he's going to start turning things on for the final run at the playoff spots.
He's out with Howardchuk and Tardif up front. Howardchuk wins it cleanly back to Pronger. Shot. Chevelday save. Eastwood gives it to Korolev. Looks ahead for Olchek. Olchek gains the line. Is checked there by Kravchuk. Now gets it back again. Flips it back toward the blue. Malguna shot. Loose puck. Knocked back. Korolev after it. Tied up by Tardif. Pronger sends it off the glass, and here's Howardchuk. Tried the pass for Courtnall all the way down. Newman goes back. You know, the way the puck bounces around those nets tonight, you never know.
Canadian Tire has great prices on everything you need. Plus, earn Canadian Tire money with every cash purchase of merchandise. Great prices made better at Canadian Tire.
Well, we see Teppo Noonan, and he's having a very good season this year. Until Norm McIver came along, he has done a tremendous job filling in as the quarterback on the power play. Always been known as a solid defensive player, but is really having a career season up front on the offensive side of his game.
Well, I credited him with an assist on that goal by Korolev, but officially he didn't get one. In some buildings, they would have called that an assist. In Winnipeg, they don't. Newman dumped it in. It went off Fiora in front of an empty net, and Korolev fired it in. But officially, that goal is Korolev unassisted, his 16th.
Well, you see Grant Fuhr, his mindset is he would like to play every single game this year. That's what his attitude is like. Just loves to play the game, doesn't feel tired. I think he's the type of player that probably could play every game.
In a long time since that's been done. Eddie Johnson in with Pittsburgh. Played the ball. Here's Wells. Trying to get it out. Tied up by Finley. Puck goes loose. Here's Hudson trying it for Noonan. Puck in the center ice area. In with it now. Carol Shannon fires it back in. Pure leaves it. Wells in the corner. In behind the net. And the Blues, Noonan missed it. King shot. Turcotte tried to redirect. Stopped it. Now it goes to Finley at the point. He knocks it in. Hull trying to clear. Gives it right to Turcotte. To King. Shot. Pure save. And the rebound is into Souvenir Country.
Well, the line of Turcotte, King, and Doan continues to be a force out there tonight, probably because they just keep the game simple, make a couple of passes, take shots at the net. You look here, it gets across to Chris King, he just directs it at the net. Earlier it was directed and Turcotte tried to redeflect it. The Jets continue on this line, especially continue to just go to the net, shoot it at Fuhr, look for the rebound. In this case, Fuhr was able to deflect the puck up over the glass, but this line is really beginning to get things going for the Jets.
Corson and Shamnov face off. Corson pulls it back to McInnes, around for Hull. Approached by Malgunas. It's come down to center ice. Now Corson, checked by Shamnov. Hull, checked by Tkachuk. Tkachuk has Newman in wide right. Trying to feed it out in front. It goes back to Malgunas. Shot. Here's Drake back in. Rebound. And it's knocked away by Hull. It goes to center. Matteau with it there. Cut off by Malgunas. Cheveldae trying to clear. Knocked down by Matteau. He gives it to Tkachuk. Into Shamnov. Shamnov with Tkachuk. Puts it out in front. Puck goes to the corner now. Tkachuk after it there for Winnipeg. Puts it in deep for Drake. Drake trying to steer free of Barron. Here's Drake in behind. Manages to free himself. Gives it to Shamnov. He fired it across. Tkachuk couldn't get his stick on it. Manson behind now for Drake. Drake bumped by Corson and thrown down. There's going to be a penalty to Shane Corson. Holding the call against the Blues captain.
Well, Shane doesn't appear to be very excited about that call, but the hard work from the Jets pays off. They are working the puck around, and it was only a matter of time, the way the play was going, that St. Louis was going to end up taking a penalty. Maybe not a real obvious one. Shane Corson maybe just trying to get over top of Dallas Drake, but the way the Jets were controlling the play, it was, like I say, Trottier was looking to make a call there.
Second penalty of the game, the second to the St. Louis Blues. This time the Jets start off with Eddie Olczyk, Igor Korolev, and Mike Stapleton up front. Normally the second unit on the power play. Finley is back with Manson. Face off in the circle to the left of Grant Fuhr. You know, there were some not long ago who thought Fuhr was washed up.
Well, he's another player this season. It's amazing. You look at players like Mark Messier and Mike Gardner, and, you know, Fuhr is following in those same footsteps this season. These older players really being revived. I don't know if it's in some special drinking water, but if it is, I wouldn't mind getting a hold of some.
Now with it, Manson at the point, lets it go, and it went wide. Courtnall back in the corner. Checked by Korolev, it goes to Stapleton. Back now to Korolev. To the point, Finley. To Manson, the hardest shot on the leg. Lets it go wide. Here's Finley trying to dump it in, and it's brought away by the St. Louis Blues. Johnson gets it to Kravchuk. Back to Johnson in front, and unable to redirect. Now the puck is picked up by Olczyk to Korolev. Korolev dropped it back for Olczyk. Can't get by Pronger. Puck goes free again out to center. McIver has it taken from him by Courtnall. Courtnall mishandles, and McIver with it again. A minute 15 left in a man advantage for Winnipeg. Jets trail 3-2 in the first. Here's Manson. Dumps it in. Tkachuk and Matteau go after it. In against the boards. Puck goes to Solani. To Shamnov. Hall and Solani race for it. Held in by McIver. To Shamnov. To Solani. To Shamnov. To Solani. Tried it back. Manson shot. That went off Matteau. Picked up by Matteau now. He gives it to Barron. Ahead for Hull. Approached and checked by McIver. Hull retreats behind the goal. finds some room, sends it back to the jet line. Manson for Solani by him, but play is called on the offside.
Well, Solani's a player here that's going to have to get this power play going, and the rest of the team. They were doing some good board work on this past power play, but they just weren't turning and generating anything towards the net. That's when a team like this has got to just say, hey, guys, let's keep things simple, direct things to the net, get Tkachuk in front and start whacking and hacking and deflect things in. Take a bad goal and get things rolling along. Right now, Timo Solani, he's looking at the clock, checking out how much time is left. It'd be very important for the Jets to try and get one goal before the end of the period.
Solani has at least a point in each of the last 11 games the Jets have played, the longest current streak in the NHL. He hasn't got one yet tonight. Now the puck in the corner. Pronger slams it off the boards all the way down. 15 seconds left in the penalty to the Blues. Corson. McIver back for it. Now gets it on the left side to Shamnov. He dumps it into the blue zone. Pure leads it there. Now it's sent back. McIver moves in to the corner. Solani, the penalty is over. Newman and shot in front, redirected wide by Shamnov. Puck picked up by Pronger. Gets it to the line and out. Newman and knocks it down. Corson leaves it there. Howardchuk fires it in. And McIver lifted high in the air. Barron takes it back for the Blues. Sends it to center. King fires it back in. Now McKinnis trying to bring it out. Watched by Turcotte. Sends a hard pass up the middle. That goes all the way down. Finley back for it for Winnipeg. Taken in against the boards by Mateau. Here's a centering effort. Hit the side of the... No, poked in front. And with a Turcotte. Ahead for King. He couldn't contain it. McKinnis for Corson. Sent to the line. Doan and Hull. Here's Mateau. Has to wait for Hull. And dumps it in. Jeff Finley around for King. Into the middle for Turcotte. Turcotte ahead for Doan. Pass intercepted by Courtnall. Courtnall lost his stick. Trying to kick it in front. Manson took it. And play has been called. Just under 3 minutes left in the first period.
Score! Chris King rips one past Bridger. He scores! And back, boot shot, yep. Here's a chance for
Nato. Over 60,000 businesses across Canada have Advantage 800 numbers. They generated sales of over $1 billion last year. Now just imagine if that system ever went down. Thankfully,
Gilbert Steel, Sales Division.
It won't. Advantage 800. Everything in business should be this reliable.
Earlier in front of the net, Shannon was caught with a bit of a mistake, coughs it up, but makes up for it and doesn't allow the puck to get in front of the net to Hull, which would have been a golden opportunity. It's important, though, that the Jets get their back turned around and face the St. Louis players, because otherwise they're not going to get their sticks. They're not going to know where the puck's coming from, and the St. Louis is going to continue to get shots away.
Now the Jets have been penalized for too many men on the ice. The Blues with a man advantage for the first time tonight. Puck deep in the Jet zone. And with it now is Eastwood. Eastwood and Stapleton. Eastwood gains the line. Drops to Stapleton. Can't get much on the shot. McInnes behind his goal. He starts away. McInnes dumps it in. After it now is Courtnall against Stapleton. It goes in behind the net. Finley and Howardchuk. Howardchuk up front with Courtnall. Now Eastwood trying to clear. Tardif is also on the power play. Here's Courtnall. Gets over the Jet line. Puts it in deep now for Howardchuk. Chased by Newman. Taking it against the boards. Puck goes behind. Finley. It's centered. Howardchuk trying to jam it in the short side. And the save by Chevrolet. Howardchuk's previous goal was scored from the same vicinity when he put it over the shoulder. of starting netminder Habibullin. Here's Hull. Gets over the jet line. Gives to Corson. To Hull. And he couldn't get his stick on the bouncing puck. Now Kachuk in the corner. Behind the net. Grabbed there by Hull. Looks at Mateau in front. Hull tried to feed it. Knocked down by Manson. Hull gets it back again. Back it goes to Kravchuk. To Pronger. Pronger's pass. Missed by Hull. Hull takes it behind. Corson's in front. It's centered. Back with it now. Pronger. Over to Kravchuk. Shot off the stick of Manson. The save by Chevelday. Corson trying to feed the pass. Manson wraps him up. Manson surrounded by three Blues. Now Pronger comes up with it. Puts it back to Kravchuk. 10 seconds in the penalty. His shot. It was whistled down. There's going to be a penalty. With 7 seconds left in the jet penalty for too many men. Slashing has been indicated against Dave Manson. So the Jets will be 2 men short for 7 seconds.
Well, Dave Manson just continues to be his aggressive self, something that maybe normally wouldn't be called as a penalty, but that's the way Dave Manson plays when he's at his best, and he's been having a strong season. Only this time around, he got caught by Trottier and has to serve the 2-minute penalty.
A slash to Van Bateau is out on the power play, along with Corson and Hull. Pronger and McInnes face off to the right of Chevelday. Won by Stapleton. Puck takes a weird hop. After it is Newmanen. Newmanen gets to center, dumps it away, then runs out the first penalty. Gave face-off win by Stapleton. Now it goes to McInnes. Drives it into Jet territory. McIver with it there. Bumped by Corson. Eastwood gets it back. It goes to the point. Now with it, McInnes. His hammer. They score! The rebound. Corson put it through. It's 4-2 St. Louis.
Well, we'll see Shane Corson convert on the Al McGinnis shot. There's a good deflection there, which kind of gets Chevy off of it a little bit, ends up putting the puck out in front for the rebound, and Corson on the doorstep takes a good whack at it. A good deflection, that's all it takes, getting a little piece of it. Otherwise, maybe Habby would have got it right in their, Chevy would have got it right in the stomach and covered it up. Instead, Corson's on the doorstep for the rebound and puts it through Chevy's legs.
So it's 4-2 St. Louis with 25 seconds left in the first period. Now Goonan behind his goal. Puts it over to the corner now for Doan. A late pass for Turcotte. He can move, gains the line. Stops, looks for help, finds Malgonis. It's offside. Mateau and McInnes draw the assists on that power play goal by Corson.
Well, we see here the Jets are moving it in. Maybe that's an area there where the puck should go deep. It is late in the period. You don't want to cough it up at this time, but the puck does get out over the zone and called on the offside.
11 seconds in the period. Turcotte to Malgunas. He drives it in. Newmanen holds it at the point. He in front. Picked off by Pronger. He takes it to center. Will take a long shot. Goes off Malgunas. Over the net.
Well, Grant, first year so far, you sure don't see any signs of fatigue from this guy. He's had a good, solid period. And, I'm sure he's not looking ahead to the other 35 games, but he is having a strong period. Didn't face a lot of shots on net, but was solid nevertheless.
Blues had 17 shots and scored 4 goals. The St. Louis Blues 4, the Winnipeg Jets 2. Up next, Joe Vescucci will speak with Jet rookie Shane Doan.
1 of 5 collisions every day that I deal with is caused by tailgating. Tailgating is basically traveling too close to the vehicle ahead of you. You do your shoulder check to find out if it's okay for you to go, and in the meantime, for whatever reason, the driver ahead of you has stopped his vehicle, and you haven't seen that. So many of the collisions that we see at MPI could have been prevented if the drivers were just more road-wise.
Wow! Look who we have here.
Just your friendly neighborhood M&Ms. Sit down.
The same M&Ms that come in the bag?
Same ones.
Only bigger.
With a colorful shell, just like this?
The actor's catching on.
And rich milk chocolate on the inside?
Yes!
Oh, then I'm really glad you came by.
Why is that?
Because I'm all out. Which one of you is Peanut?
He is. I hear he's delicious. So long, buddy.
Now that the holidays are over, it's time to pay your bills. Need a break? Get 10 pieces of KFC chicken plus fries and gravy, now just $13.99. KFC's affordable hot meal deal.
There's only one way to beat winter in Manitoba. Four-wheel drive from Winnipeg Jeep Eagle. The 96 Jeep Grand Cherokee is Canada's best all-terrain vehicle, combining safety, elegance, and 4x4 toughness. The Jeep Cherokee, still Manitoba's favorite four-wheel drive utility vehicle. And don't forget the Eagle Talon, the all-wheel drive sports car. Sure-footed traction in all conditions, plus the guaranteed lowest prices and lowest lease rates at Winnipeg Jeep Eagle, Western Canada's largest volume Jeep Eagle dealership. 1430 Ellis, just a slap shot from the arena.
Last time I was in the store, I counted about 17 different kinds of pain relievers. I let other people shop around. When I'm in pain, I go right for what I know will work. Motrin IB.
Motrin IB. The pain stops here.
A wild first period at the arena, and their last two losses here at home. The Jets went ahead in the first period 2-0. Tonight they fell behind 2-0, and maybe they can come back to win. And joining us now, 19-year-old Jets rookie Shane Doan. And Shane, that's not quite the start the Jets were hoping for after the All-Star break.
No, I mean, you come out flat like that, they got some pretty quick goals on us there, but I guess it's only a 2-goal game and there's a lot of time left, so there's no telling what can happen.
How would you characterize your rookie season so far? I guess there's a lot of ways you can characterize it.
Oh, I mean, I'm really happy that this is my rookie season that I'm able to play here, but I mean, I haven't played that consistent, and I've been up and down, sort of, to speak, I guess. I play good for a few games, then I kind of go to sleep, and that's what I got to really work on. So it's kind of hard to categorize it.
Yeah. Are you putting too much pressure on yourself, forcing yourself to try to do more?
I don't know. I mean, you always want to put the big points up on the board, but I mean, I just got to go out there and play my role, and that's to play physical along the boards and play strong and play good in my own end.
I know when you came here to camp, you really looked forward to playing and watching Keith Tkachuk. What have you been able to learn from him?
Oh, I mean, the guy's always got his feet moving. I mean, you watch him go to the net and stuff, his feet are never stop moving, and I know I got to work on that a lot. I'll catch myself hesitating instead of attacking the play, and you watch Keith, he's always attacking the play, always making things happen, and that's probably the biggest thing I've learned is his feet are always moving.
I know the guys don't want you talking about the loops very often, but you learned a lot from your hockey playing in Kamloops. That's a great organization.
Oh, I mean, you can't say enough about that place. I mean, over the past 12 years, they've never had a losing season, and it's a great place to come from for playing junior and stuff, but that's where I came from, and this is where I am now.
All right, Jets rookie Shane Doan, our guest here in the first intermission. Shane, with 5 goals this season, one of the reasons we've had him on in the intermission is because the tradition is the guest always scores a goal, and Shane would like to have one. Coming up next on our Molson Jets hockey telecast, we'll go between periods. The Blues leading the Jets 4-2 after 1.
Now at the Brick, pay no interest on everything in the store and save up to $50 on selected RCA VCRs during the great RCA VCR rebate. Do not pay until $19.97 on its RCA 4-hit hi-fi stereo VCR. After RCA rebate, only $3.99. And now during Operation Clean Sweep, save on clearance appliances and electronics, with savings up to 65% on clearance home furnishings. Pay no interest on everything in the store with no down payment. Plus, on specially selected home furnishings, do not pay interest until $19.99. This is the final weekend. Nobody beats the Brick.
Day after day, you see the same thing. Car and truck buyers driving all over Manitoba looking for great deals, only to end up at the home of the big buy, Jim Goche. And then they ask, how do you always have the best prices? And how can you sell your cars and trucks for so much less than everybody else? Well, the answer is easy. Volume! If you don't come see the big guy today, he can't save you any money.
On McPhillips, north of Inkster. Maestro Bramwell Tovey presents the riches of British musical tradition. The WSO offers 2 more British imports of sterling quality in the Jaguar Symphony Sweepstakes. Choose from 3 fabulous grand prizes. Music in Motion, the new Jaguar XJS convertible, the new Jaguar XJ6 sedan, or $60,000 cash. 325 prizes with a total value at over $124,000. The first early bird draws February 24th. Enter the Jaguar Symphony Sweepstakes.
Play Safeway Score and Win. When the Jets score on CK&D, you could win a set of quality appliances from Tefal, a 20-piece set of Mikasa Fine China in the Currents pattern, a Gold Star Start Touch 2 VCR, or a Texas Instruments personal organizer. You could also win a trip for 2 to Mazatlan, Mexico, courtesy of Canadian Holidays, Canada's largest vacation company. To enter, drop by your local Safeway, and when the Jets score on CK&D, you could win. Score and win at Safeway, today's better way.
Promotional consideration provided by...
Start your day with Delco's new Freedom 84 battery. It guarantees you 7 years of worry-free starts.
Well, it was a rough first period, but so far a great season for goaltender Nikolai Habibulin. We caught up with goalie coach Pete Peters, and he talked about his prized student.
The first and foremost thing that we decided that we were going to do with our goaltenders this year was that their conditioning could never be a factor in a game. If they're tired, all of a sudden your mental thought process slows down, and both Chevy and Nick are in fabulous condition. I think it showed here the other night when Nick came in and he saw 78 shots in 2 games and let in 3 goals. When he's coming across, we're like this. Make sure we're not, okay? Make sure that when we round the corner on the crease, that we stay square to the puck. Now, I think Chevy's a little better puck handler than Nick, but Nick's also learning, and he's made leaps and bounds as far as coming out of the net. And puck handling isn't a shooting goalie like a Hextall. A puck handling goalie is a goalie who makes the right decision and sets a puck up so you can break out of your zone. The first thing that impressed me when I saw him when he came from the Russian Penguins and they were touring in the International League was he didn't look like a European goalie. He looked like a North American goalie. He was staying on his feet, playing the angles. Next thing that really impressed me was he never quits on a puck. I've never seen a goalie that will not quit on it until it's in the net. I've marked down goals when the other team has come down, and he's made saves that probably I've never seen before. And those were the things that really grabbed me when I first saw him.
Give some people the confidence to be their best, to give that extra effort, to go the distance. A lot depends on the equipment they choose. At Athletes Wear, we've got the best selection. Right now, save $17 on these Winwell hockey gloves. Durable leather construction, Pro Style short cuff, Pro Flex protective system. These Winwell gloves are a terrific value. Athletes Wear, still the right choice.
The choice is there. Athletes Wear.
This is Cam Clark for Neiman Furs. Due to the high cost of carrying inventory, Neiman Furs is going out of the fur business and closing their retail outlet forever. Their beautiful collection of fur coats, fur jackets, and cashmeres is being liquidated. Special financing has been arranged with payments as low as $36 per month. Liquidation prices will remain in effect until every last fur is sold. Hurry in for the best selection before Neiman Furs closes their doors forever. Neiman Furs, 136 Market, right next to NTC.
At Vernas Auto Body, they know your car is more than just a car. It's one of your largest investments. And since you wouldn't let just anyone drive it, why would you let just anyone fix it? Vernas Auto Body has over 40 years experience utilizing only state-of-the-art equipment and the highest quality products. And now as a member of Auto Pro Collision, you can receive immediate financing through our National Auto Pro credit card to assist you in large repairs or simply help with your deductible. For your next auto body repair, trust all the work to Vernas Auto Body, setting the standard in auto body repair.
He tested their courage.
Climb!
time! He challenged their spirit.
We're crew. That's what this whole thing is about.
Hollywood Pictures presents...
Skipper!
A 1 in a million freak accident?
A story of tragedy.
Or was it negligence?
Don't you walk out on this, Skipper!
And triumph.
We listened to you, and we are still here.
Jeff Bridges in a Ridley Scott film based on a true story. White Squall. Sneak preview Saturday, January 27th.
Okay, Carey, a couple of strange bounces, a few strange goals, a whole lot more scoring than I think anybody would have expected in that first period.
Well, definitely, Kurt. We were expecting a goaltender's battle this evening, and so far it hasn't been. A couple of fluky goals, like you said, but I think St. Louis came out real strong. They were on top of the puck. They were working hard. They were excited about the game. I think the Jets came out flat. Terry Simpson's probably in the dressing room kicking some garbage cans, making a lot of noise, waking these guys up. They got to get their skates out of the sand and onto the ice and get their minds into the game for the second period.
You know, you take the last homestand the Jets had, they had 2-0 leads over Hartford and Anaheim and wound up losing those games. They're a club that generally seems to play better when they're behind. So what do we look for in the second period?
Well, that might be a very good sign and a great point, Kurt. I think these guys, if the Jets can get the next goal, they're going to get a little bit of excitement and start battling back, but they got to be patient. They can't come out and try and win it in the first 5 minutes.
Okay, so we'll see what happens in the second period. Stand by for the face-off in just a moment here on CKND, Winnipeg TV.
Al Duntley's running for governor.
All the way to the Capitol!
There's only one small problem. His brother, Mike. So now, they need someone
And I am your man.
to keep him under control.
Okay, good first day.
Black Sheep.
Are you or are you not the Black Angel of Death? Oh my God!
Starts Friday, February 2nd at theaters everywhere.
Sportsline is the place to be for the best sports coverage every night at 11, right here on CKND Winnipeg TV. Of course, we have all the highlights every night, as well as detailed coverage of the local sports scene. That includes the Safeway Select Provincial Men's Curling Championship coming up next month in Brandon. We're going to be all over that story. You could be our guest here in Brandon that week, win tickets and free accommodation here at the Trails West Motor Inn. Watch Sportsline for details on how to enter.
Boy, this sports announcer stuff is tough work, isn't it, girls?
To Sportsline.
Hi, Joe.
Molson Jets Hockey on CKND is brought to you in part by MTS, Canadian Tire, Winnipeg Jeep Eagle, 1430 Ellis at Arena Road, and by McDonald's. Have you had your break today?
Tim Shovelday, who came in relief for Nikolai Habapulin in that opening period with a score of 3-1. Habapulin gave up 3 goals and 10 shots. The Blues managed 7 shots on Tim Shovelday and did add 1 goal. The Submarine, lots of it in that first period. Tony Twist, his first goal of the year from Holland McInnes. St. Louis made it 2-0. Jeff Courtnall with his 12th. McInnes drew his second assist. The Jets got on the scoreboard. Mike Eastwood with his 8th. Then Dale Hawerchuk restored the 2-goal lead for the Blues with his 8th of the season. Korolev scored for Winnipeg his 16th, and the final goal of the period, a 3rd assist for Al McInnes. It was scored by Shane Corson, his 14th, and it came on the power play. So Tim Shovelday. It's got to be tough on a goaltender to come in midway through the first period or midway through any period of any hockey game, Karen.
Well, it is. You don't see that very often, that it happens that early in the first period. But one of the things the Jets have found so far this season is they've got two goaltenders playing extremely well, and it's a real vote of confidence knowing that if one of the players is having an off night early, you can put that second one in tonight in the case of Tim Shovelday and feel confident that he's going to come in and have a strong game.
One thing that happens is that a goaltender like Shovelday in the morning will take extra time at the skate, stay out with the Black Aces, play the scrimmage game with the assistant coaches who love to play for about an hour after the skate. And then oftentimes in the afternoon, they won't rest as much as they would if they were starting. So it makes for a long day. Here's Newman. Dumps it into the St. Louis zone. Back to get it is McInnes. 4-2. St. Louis leads starting the second period. Puck goes to the blue line. Newman can't hold it in. Shamnov back for McInnes. He dumps it all the way down. Back to get it is McInnes. In behind his goal. McInnes pokes it ahead for Corson. Corson gets up to center ice. Trying the pass for Hall. It goes to the corner. And it's called on the offside. Well, the next action for the Winnipeg Jets is coming up on the 4th of February. When the Vancouver Canucks will be in town. Jets will be heading out on the road in the betwixt. You can call 780-SEAT. Or if you're out of town, you want to come in for that one, 1-800-465-SEAT. Alexander McGillney and company. 4-2 here. St. Louis leading Winnipeg. 4th of 6 meetings between these clubs. The Blues have won 2 of the previous 3. Here's McInnes. Looks ahead for Corson. Puck goes all the way down the ice. Back to get it is Newman. And it's icing against St. Louis. Well, now they've announced that Tempo Newman has been credited with an assist on that goal by Korolev.
Well, I think it was appropriate in that case, Kurt. It was a dump in, even though it wasn't a pass right on the stick, but miscue by Grant Fuhrer in the net, and it pops out in front. Definitely, I think he deserves that assist. It goes to show you that you put things, dump things in the zone, you never know what's going to happen. And Teppo Newman, who plays always a very solid and simple game, just goes, you know, like I say, it goes to show you that if you keep the game simple, it's amazing what kind of things will happen.
Shamnov and Hall face off to the right of Fuhrer. It goes back to Newman. He dumps it toward the goal now. Back in Shamnov. Redirected by Drake wide. Tkachuk into the corner after it. Tried it for Drake. Drake trying to free himself of Hall. It goes to Tkachuk. Checked by McInnes. In traffic. Hall can't clear. Now Gunas knocks it in. Picked up again by Tkachuk. To Shamnov. Shot blocked by McInnes. The toe bumped by Malgunas. Dumped it out to center. Newman chased by Hall. Trying to clear it. Top of the linesman, dumped in by Corson. And Shovelday holds on with Mateau looking on.
Well, Terry Simpson, we mentioned earlier, trying to stir some life into his players. It came out a little flat in the first period, but appeared to be getting things a little bit more on a roll this period, especially you just saw from the line of Tkachuk, Shamnov, and Drake, moving the puck around extremely well and directing things at the net. That's what they've got to do this period, just to get things going, be patient, and keep trying to put as many shots on Fuhrer as they can.
Howard-Chuck is out between Tardif and Kortnoff. Kortnoff drops back on the face-off, which is won by Eastwood to McIver. Solani picks it up now for Winnipeg. 4-2, the Blues lead. Early in the second period, McIver straight up the middle for Winnipeg. Trying to dump it in, knocked down. Kortnoff looks for Howard-Chuck. Banned on his pass. It goes back into the Jet zone. And with it, McIver. Chased by Kortnoff. Puts it back to Eddie Olczyk. Olczyk, who's been on fire prior to his absence through injury. Now Solani moves out to center ice. Gives it to Olczyk. Rebound, Solani. Big save by Fuhrer. And the puck is dumped all the way down the ice. Big rebound and a big save by Fuhrer on Solani. Solani trying to clear. Stopped by Kravchuk. It goes free. Roberts drive. Shovelday knocked it away. Here's Kortnoff with it. Short nose, but Timo Solani trying to break away. He's got Olczyk with him. Solani looks in, trying to feed it. He scores!
A miscue by the St. Louis Blues, and Solani picks it up. He's got open ice. Chris Pronger trying to stay in the middle. Solani attempts to get it across Eddie Olczyk, gets knocked off a Pronger stick right back to him. He takes a shot after Grant Fuhr, anticipating the play, has moved across to the far side. You know, again, a little bit of a fluke, but these things happen, and the Jets will take it. A solid play by Solani, looking to make the 2-on-1 pass, comes back to him and takes the shot.
Solani is 24th of the year, and the Jets have closed to within one. 4-3 is the score. Noonan along the boards. Now Roberts trying to dump it in. Johnson goes after it there with Finley. Roberts trying to dig it out as well. King stays with him. Roberts and King. It goes to Noonan. Puts it in deep. Left now. Centered. Wells moves in from the point. Battling Doan for it. Doan knocks it ahead. And it's taken out to Turcotte. Turcotte gains the St. Louis line. Here's Turcotte. Shannon shot. Rebound Doan. Big save. I'm not sure how or whether it was pure luck. Bad for Doan or good for Fuhr. But the puck never left the ice. And Fuhr had it covered.
In a world all its own. Great-grandparents of a Sunfire driver. Pontiac Sunfire, built for drivers.
Well, we see Shane Doan pick up a rebound from Shannon's shot. You'd think he's got the open net, and I'm sure he's still wondering himself right now how he didn't put it in. Makes a very good move, knocks it off the goalpost. He had about 3 feet to shoot at. Following the play, he banged a stick against the board, showing in anger how frustrated that can be.
Here's Tkachuk trying to move in. Checked by a string of Blues, and now it's taken away by Hull with Matteau. Hull trying to beat Malgunas, who knocked it away from him. Malgunas flips it high, and it's out of play. And a goal by Timo Solani means another giveaway in our score and win contest. Jackie Childs of Winnipeg entered a ballot at Safeway and included a proof of purchase from Kraft Singles. Congratulations, Jackie. You have won a set of Dirt Devil vacuums from Royal Appliance. 4-3. If you've lost track, plenty of scoring. Solani's 24th unassisted.
Well, you see a strong play here by Malgunas, not letting Brett Hull beat him. He takes the man first, the most important thing, and then it just happens the puck is there, moves across, and gets the puck out.
Newman gets it ahead to Shamnov, to Drake. Drake's pass picked off by Matteau. Dump back in with it there is Corson. Corson trying to clear. Newman knocks it in. Drake goes after it. McInnes has it. McInnes to Matteau. It goes past him. Newman in at center to Tkachuk. Tkachuk back to Shamnov. Shamnov has to go all the way back. Now sends it across, and McInnes has it in his own zone. Nearing the 4-minute mark of the second period, the St. Louis Blues 4, the Winnipeg Jets 3. Here's Corson working down against Malgunas, trying to work it in front. Shamnov's pass, pick up Matteau for Hull. Hold to Matteau. He was checked by Shamnov. Kravchuk, Pronger, Kravchuk to Corson. Tried it for Hall. Malgunas, who's had a strong game, had it knocked away. Now Eastwood gains the line. Eastwood takes it in deep. Working there against Kravchuk. Corson puts it around, and with it is Courtnall with Tardif. Courtnall moves to center. Gives it to Tardif, trying to beat Manson. Manson rides him heavily to the end board. Now Courtnall puts it down deep. Kravchuk knocked away from him. Stapleton chased by Howardchuk. Stapleton makes it over to McKenzie. Dumped in. Eastwood after it. Behind the goal, Eastwood checked. McIver trying to put it in for Eastwood, and that's taken away by big Chris Pronger. He gives to Courtnall. Dumped in. Chevrolet leaves it there. McIver gets it outside the zone, and Daigneault has it. Over to Wells. Wells puts a bouncer in on Chevrolet, and he grabs that and holds on.
Well, Tim Chevrolet so far this period hasn't seen a lot of action. When a bouncing puck comes at you, you got to be careful, get your body in front of it. But, you know, Tim Chevrolet will continue to, so far has played a strong game and hopes to continue that way.
Roger Nielsen working alongside Mike Keenan. Nielsen's been with just about every team in the league, too, hasn't he?
Well, he has, and better known as Captain Video. The St. Louis Blues didn't skate this morning, but I'm sure they had a noon meeting which incorporated into it, I'm sure, a good 45 minutes of Captain Video's plays and what to look forward to in the game against the Jets tonight.
Puck into the corner. Courtnall centers it up a leg. Oh, check. Puts it around, and with it now is Korolev. Dumped it out to center ice. Solani flying after it. Solani trying to beat Noonan to it. Noonan rides him. Solani leaves it there for Shannon. Knocked behind the net. And with it as well. Will stands on a clearing pass. Now it goes to Noonan. Picked up by Olchek. Checked by Noonan with Courtnall and Daigneault. Noonan gains the line. Knocked off the puck by Finley. Puck goes free. Howardchuk puts it back in. Shannon around for Olchek. Olchek puts it around for Solani. Solani takes it behind his goal. His pass picked off by Barron. He has to wait. Gives to Howardchuk. He flips it in. Shannon puts it to the corner. Courtnall couldn't contain it. Solani into the middle. Korolev with Solani and Olchek. Tried it back. Here's Solani's shot. And kicked out by the fast foot of Pure. Here's Courtnall. Tried it now for Johnson. It's over the line, and with it is Numminen. Numminen looks for Rome. Gains the line. Trying to swing through. Newman. Turn cut. He scores!
The first chance by Teemu Solani, a great setup by Korolev. This was followed right up by a little bit of not quite typical of Teppo Numminen. He puts on a little bit of one-on-one show here, known more for his solid defensive play, does a good job holding on to the puck, dishes it off to Turcotte, who moves up through the middle. He one-times it right into the corner. But you can feel the Jets building momentum here. They're taking things more to the net this period. And in their own end, they've been much more solid, closing up the gaps and playing a little bit tighter to the vest.
Here's Pronger at center ice. Dumps it into the Jets zone. 4-4 the score. Hall and Tkachuk wrap each other up. Now Shamrock gives it away. Corson in front. Oh, backhand. And coming to the rescue, Teppo Numminen. Hall at an empty net. Numminen got in front. Now Tkachuk, and it's offside. Winnipeg, 4-4. It's a scoring bonanza in the second at Winnipeg.
Play Safeway Score and Win. When the Jets score on CKND, you could win an IBM Aptiva multimedia computer, a GE Spacemaker 2 microwave oven, Dirt Devil's MVP and Dust Devil from Royal Appliance, or $300 in MasterCard Traveler's checks from the Bank of Montreal. You could also win a trip for two to Mazatlan, Mexico, courtesy of Canadian Holidays, Canada's largest vacation company. Safeway's participating products, Yoplait yogurt, and Safeway Select Indulgence cookies. Score and win at Safeway, today's better way.
They've met twice before on Super Sunday. Now they clash again. The Pittsburgh Steelers and the Dallas Cowboys renew old hostilities in a quest for the most coveted trophy in sports. And one game decides it all. Don't miss Super Bowl 30, live from Arizona. The pregame show's at 2:30, kickoffs at 5 on CKND, Winnipeg TV.
Our next lucky winner in a Safeway Score and Win contest is Nicole Berriot of Portage. Nicole entered Score and Win at Safeway along with a proof of purchase from Safeway Select Indulgence Cheesecakes. As a result, Nicole has won $300 in MasterCard Traveler's checks from the Bank of Montreal. Now with it, Kravchuk for St. Louis. He moves it up to center ice. Takes the long shot. A lot on that one, too, and it's grabbed by Chevelday.
Well, you see Teppo Numminen doing it in both ends of the rink tonight after setting up the goal on a beautiful one-on-one effort to Darren Turcotte. Here he steps in and does what he's more known for is his defensive prowess, getting the puck from Hull and stopping what looked like was going to be a definite goal there.
You know, you talk about Teppo Numminen and that play he made before as not being typical Teppo, but the last road trip they made to Washington and Toronto, there was more offense from Numminen than ever before. Now St. Louis in deep, centered. Drake has it. So you wonder if Teppo's been talked to or has taken it upon himself to be more proficient offensively. Howard Chuck dumps it in. Now Matteau moves in deep, centered. Oh, shot! That was blocked in front. Corson shot. Big save, Reba. Great save. They score! Well, Tim Chevelday did everything, and it still wasn't enough.
Well, you got to wonder how many saves Tim Chevelday has got to make before a player on his team is going to come in and clear the rebound away. He's stretched his legs out about 5 miles here, making about 3 saves on Brett Hull. Brett Hull does a good job of staying there on the play, gets his rebound, puts it in on the second and third effort. You know, Tim Chevelday, you expect your goaltender to come up with the first save, maybe the second save if there, but boy, by the time the third save rolls around, you got to have your players on the doorstep clearing things out. Right there, Jets, there weren't any players to be found. Brett Hull had lots of time to put in his rebound.
Malgunas was on the ice, and the forwards were up the ice. Here's Johnson. Now Howard Chuck with it. He dumps it into the jet zone. Chevelday out of the goal. Puts it in the corner. King. It's 5-4 for St. Louis. It's not halfway through the second period. McInnes drives it back in. Chevelday leaves it. It goes to the corner. King and Howard Chuck. King trying it. Courtnall dumps it in. And with it now, Finley to King. It goes to Turcotte. Turcotte's pass hopped over the stick of Doan. Now going forward is Barron. Chased by Turcotte. Pass ahead to Howard Chuck. Puts it to an open wing. The rookie Johnson beaten to it by Manson. Here's Doan. Tried it for Turcotte. Bouncing puck. Turcotte puts it across. And Howard Chuck deep for the Blues. Dumps it away. Manson with it. 8:40 gone in the second period. McIver's pass. 3 Jets up at the blue line. It went by all of them. Here's Barron. Watched by Solani. Now it's dumped down the ice by the Blues. Going back is Manson. There's going to be a penalty. McIver is down on the ice, favoring a hand. I believe it's a hand.
Well, I think Craig Johnson was dumping the puck out of his zone, and I think on the follow-through, possibly his stick has ridden up on Norm McIver's and ended up catching him in the face.
Yeah, he got it in the teeth, the bottom lip, and we'll see what the ruling is because it's a double minor. Four minutes for high sticking to Johnson.
We want to make it perfectly clear. You'll find guaranteed low prices at your Canadian Tire store every day. If you find a better price anywhere, we'll match it. Guaranteed.
Well, Richard Trottier here had to make the call. Blood was drawn, and it's a case of misuse of your stick. It's important. The rules, the new rules are the players are in control of their own stick. Even if it was an accident, a penalty still has to be called.
At last go of the Blues, Hall from Corson and Mateau. Hall's 28th of the season. He's out there now in a penalty killing role.
Well, you wonder if a line like that might ever come true. I think already St. Louis has done a lot of restructuring. Some might use the word refinancing. I don't know if there's enough left in the bank to bring 99 into St. Louis.
Olczyk wins the draw to Numminen. Numminen puts it down for Olczyk into the corner for Tkachuk. Tkachuk gives it to Olczyk. Back it goes to Numminen. Over now to Howard-Chuck. Pardon me, to Zhamnov. It's centered, and with it is Corson. Stopped at the blue line by Zhamnov. Over to Numminen. Back to Solani. In front for Tkachuk, went between his feet. And Barron dumps it all the way down the ice. Zhamnov back for Winnipeg. 3 minutes and 25 seconds left in the double minor to the Blues. The Blues lead the Jets 5-4. Here's Olczyk, dumps it in. McKinnis chased by Tkachuk. Solani stops the clearing effort. Kicks at it. Back it goes to Zhamnov. Puts it in deep. Barron against Olczyk. The Blues can't clear. Zhamnov puts it in deep. Tkachuk after it in the corner, so is Courtnall. McKinnis hands it to Solani. Solani, nobody in front. Now Tkachuk moves in front. Solani to Olczyk. Olczyk looks back, feeds Numminen. Numminen lets it go. Dorsey rebound, and Mateau slaps it away. Back to get it, Teppo Numminen. 2:37 left in the penalty to St. Louis. Zhamnov to Numminen. Leading the power play to center ice. Here's Numminen working in, dumps it to the corner. Pronger slams it around the boards, and that goes the distance. Shovelday lost it to Howard-Chuck. It's in front. Here's Pronger's drive. Blocked by a sliding Finley, and he's hurt. Oh, he took life and limb in hand there with his goaltender out to lunch.
Well, Jeff Finley really paid the price here for his team. Tim Shovelday mishandles the puck here. Dale Howard-Chuck jumps in on it, puts it back to the point. Tim Shovelday can't get back into the net, and Jeff Finley sees this, throws his body in front of it, and makes a great play for his team.
Well, we've seen empty nets, shots on empty nets, goaltenders losing sight of the puck beside them in the net. We've seen a flip over top of a goaltender's shoulder from close range. It's 5-4. It could have been more.
Well, it could have been. Dale Howard-Chuck jumped on that pretty quickly. He's very good at lifting players' sticks. He has no problem getting in and doing the same to the goaltender.
Dale Howard-Chuck scored in the first period. He'll be speaking with Joe Pascucci in the second intermission. Here's Manson away for Winnipeg. Passed it to nobody. Howard-Chuck puts it ahead. Noonan goes after it. Noonan takes it deep. Watched there by Zhamnov. It's in behind the net. Manson drags it away. 1:48 left in the penalty to the St. Louis Blues. Here's Zhamnov dumps it in. Puck goes to the corner. Corson. Now Pronger around for Hull. And Hull dumps it away. Jets unable to mount much of an offensive. In fact, any offensive with his man advantage. Shovelday whirls it around. Corson tried it for Hull. Back to get it is Numminen. To Solani. Solani takes it over the line. Looks back at Tkachuk. Stops. Holds on to it. Feeds it across. And it's tapped out with ease by McKinnis. Numminen to Zhamnov. 1:05 left in the man advantage. Now it goes to Tkachuk. Kachuk looks back. Spins, trying to escape Hall. Puts it in behind. Jamnov at the point. Dumps it at the net. Kicked by Barron. It goes to Corson. He'll take his time going up with Hall. Back for Hull. Shot. Givelday save. Corson centers. And Olczyk starts back. Gives it to Turcotte. Back for Olczyk. Back to Turcotte. Turcotte trying to jam it in. And now it goes to Kravchuk. Checked by Turcotte momentarily. Now it goes to Pronger. Too far for an exhausted Hull. And the puck goes back to Finley. 21 seconds left in this man advantage for Winnipeg. Stapleton chased by Courtnall. Courtnall knocked it away from him. Finley trying to get it out. Mateau is checked. Korolev lost it. Pronger puts it back, and the penalty to the St. Louis Blues is over. Here's Manson in behind his goal. You can hear the reaction of the people to that 4-minute man advantage of the Jets, which did not create any offense. Here's Korolev.
That's going to be tough on Winnipeg. The fans are going to get on their backs, and it's going to be a real boost for the St. Louis Blues to kill that 4 minutes.
Here's Barron. Gets it to McInnes. He hammers it in. Manson had to go in front of the goal, and now the Jets Eastwood. Pushed off the puck by Barron. Howard took strips Manson of the puck. Now lets it go. And Givelday makes the save, gives to Finley. Finley dumps at the distance. Going back is Wells. And it's icing Winnipeg. 5-4 with 6:17 left in the second.
Atlantel introduces Bacon Wave, the amazing microwave tray that helps you cook perfect bacon. In minutes, you will have truly delicious and crispy bacon. It's simple. You just put the slices in the slots, slide the skewers in place, and cook in the microwave. And no more splashing. Bacon Wave eliminates a whole lot of fat. You can stack Bacon Wave trays to cook up to 20 slices of leaner, healthier bacon for all your recipe ideas. Bacon Wave is now available in these fine stores.
How's she doing?
First, you were sick. Then your brother. What a week. What can you do? Plenty of rest, liquids, children's Tylenol to bring down the fever. Whoever invented children's Tylenol must have been a parent. Children's Tylenol. It's fast, and I can trust it. And when I give it to the kids, we both feel better.
This game is very reminiscent of Grant Fuhr in his days with the Edmonton Oilers. The score of the game keeps going up and up. Grant Fuhr knows all he has to do is save enough so that his team will score one more than the other. And that very typical. Grant is used to that, and he's finding the St. Louis Blues starting to play that type of game.
Roberts and Turcotte face off left of Givelday. Did he ever drop that puck?
Those lines,
wasn't a
they like
false
to show
start.
fake, throw a few fakes every now and then, keep the guys on their toes.
Here's Newman. Takes it behind his goal. Now leads the Jets out to the center ice area. The puck went off Daniel, and it's offside. Well, you talked about Fuhr. The early days of the big teams in Edmonton, sometimes it was everybody in offense. They left all the defense to Fuhr, and he was outstanding.
Those are the days of the best defense was a strong offense. We saw Mike Eastwood earlier. He's having a very strong game tonight. Big player, playing aggressive, taking everything towards the net, and he also is very good at throwing his body around. You've seen him out there a lot tonight. Maybe the tail end of this game, you'll see Terry Simpson putting Mike Eastwood out there a little bit more to get things going for Winnipeg.
5-4, St. Louis leads. 6 minutes left in the second period. Givelday, who came in relief of Hababulin, trying to clear. Now it's centered, and it's picked up by Doan. He starts away for the Jets, gains the line, dumps it in. With it is Roberts, puts it to the corner. Daniel after it there. Daniel finds some room, works it up the middle, working against Newman, and goes by, and then it knocked away by Malgunas. Now Newman in after it. Dumped it to center. Wells fires it back in. And retreating to pick it up is Malkunis. Gives it to Numanen. Ahead for Doan. Knocked down by Wells. Wells flips a bouncer in on Cheveldae. Hall after the loose puck. Malkunis knocked him away. Now after it, Doan puts it into the center ice area. Kravchuk has it there. Gives it to Hall. He puts it in. King and Mateau look for it. Now Corson to Hall and drive. Cheveldae save. King spun around. There's going to be a penalty to Stefan Mateau. So we'll get another look at that Jet power play.
Hi, I'm Gerald Wilcox. As you may know, I play a little football here in Manitoba. I've realized to be the best at what you do, to be a true professional and winner, requires a lot of hard work and dedication. And a real competitive attitude sure doesn't hurt. You know who's got it, don't you?
You got it, Park Pontiac.
The difference is, you got it, the people at Park Pontiac.
Ceilings, walls, floors. Fibro Contact, the new all-purpose mop from Atlantic Essentials. Fibro Contact reaches new heights in cleaning. The mop head comes off easily, uses less water, less detergent, and reattaches in no time. Its microfibers cleaning power works perfectly on grease and tough stains, even in hard-to-reach spots. Ceilings, walls, and floors. The rotating head makes cleaning a snap. And it's machine washable. Fibro Contact for all your deep cleaning needs. For your own satisfaction.
In the upcoming intermission, a look at the MTS scoreboard, some Dirt Devil trivia, a newsline update, and Joe Pascucci will be speaking with Dale Hawerchuk.
Well, Jets go on the power play, a holding penalty by Mateau. Chris King does a little bit, hams it up a little bit, does a little Greg Louganis there, hams it up a little bit so that, just to make sure that Trottier didn't miss that call.
Well, the Jets' power play was pathetic in the double minor earlier in the period, and they get a chance now to redeem themselves. Jamnov gives to Kachuk. He moves it to center ice. Gives it to Jamnov. He dumps it in. Olchek goes after it. Numanen contains it at the point. Tries to put it in dust to Solani. Solani works with it. Gives it to Jamnov. Jamnov, rink wide. Solani into the corner. Kachuk. He's checked. Hull takes it. Takes his time. Puts it ahead for Corson. Corson against Numanen. Corson tied up. Dragged down. And Jamnov to Kachuk. Kachuk gains the line. Dropped it off. Here's Jamnov. Goes in front. Stand on a shot. And it went wide. Now Barrett stopped at the point. Numanen tried it into the corner. It goes to McKinnon. Back. Courtnall, he can fly. Loose puck breakaway. Courtnall shot. Cheveldae the save. In with it now is Numanen. Solani frees himself of Pronger. 45 seconds left. Solani at the center ice area. Trying to do it himself. Fighting off three blues. Manson grabs it. Dumps it in. And Fjord leaves it for Pronger. He dumps it all the way down. Cheveldae shovels it to Finley. 24 seconds left in the penalty. Stapleton gains the line. Works it in. Other side, Turcotte. Checked by Kravchuk. Checked by Turcotte. Puck goes in front. Hawerchuk dumps at the distance. And that'll do it for the St. Louis penalty. So the best opportunity went to the Blues. That breakaway by Courtnall. Here's Stapleton. Gets up across the line. Dropped to Turcotte. A rebound. McKinnon knocks it away. Korolev to Stapleton. Hawerchuk falls. Gloves it to Kravchuk. Trying to get it out. Manson kicks at it. And Mateau takes it. Gives it to Hawerchuk. Didn't get anything on that shot. Puck goes to the corner. Malkunis. And there's going to be an interference penalty against the Winnipeg Jets. As Brian Noonan went down in the corner, Dave Manson the culprit.
Well, Dave Manson takes a penalty that really wasn't necessary. Jets were in control of the puck.
for interference.
The Jets were struggling a bit on their power play. Al McGinnis just goes to dump it out around the boards. Dave Manson trying to stay up on it and keep it in. The puck gets a bad bounce off the glass, comes in, but Tim Cheveldae makes a super save here, and that should build a little bit of confidence in the players. Players going to say to themselves, hey, come on, you guys, Chevy's back there doing a solid job. Let's start doing things at the other end for him.
Norm McIver was hurt earlier in the game, and he has been missed on the special, particularly on the power play. Now the Blues with the man advantage. It goes to McInnes, the drive. Cheveldae the save. Drake clears it away. Oh, it just seems the world stops when McInnes winds up for one of those drives from the line. McInnes has it now. Takes it up to center ice. Tried it for Corson by him. Cheveldae. Around now for Eastwood. Eastwood can't get it out. Corson has it. Puts it back to McInnes. McInnes behind for Corson. Into the corner, Mateau. Back to Corson. To Hull. Back to the point, Kravchuk. Tried it back for Hull. It goes to Corson. Watched by Numminen. Tried it for Mateau. Grabbed by Drake, who takes it away to center ice. Here's Dallas Drake. Takes his time. Dumps it in. McInnes, a minute 5. Left in the penalty to Manson. Here's Corson. Pumps it into the Jet zone. And play is called on the offside.
Well, Brett Hull, whose forte is on the power play, the St. Louis hasn't had a lot of opportunities in the last few minutes of this game, but you're going to look to see St. Louis move things to him. He's got a great one-timer, and he can get the puck off very quickly on his shot. That's a big thing that people don't give him credit for. They talk so much about how powerful his shot is, but really the thing to focus in on is how quick he releases the puck. That's where so many of his goals come from, not so much worrying about speed on the puck.
Here's Kravchuk. Puts it back now to Pronger. And Pronger comes up the middle. Lead pass. That goes all the way down the ice. Cheveldae puts it to the corner court now. And it hop over his stick. Now King flips it high. And that goes all the way down. 1:10 left in the period. 38 seconds left in the Jet penalty to Dave Manson. The Blues lead the Jets 5-4. Here's Pronger at center. Fires it in. After it in the corner, Noonan. King stumbles with some help from Noonan and sits on it. And there's going to be a penalty. Richard Trottier has indicated holding against the Blues. Man, he's nabbed is Noonan.
Well, I think Noonan got a little bit of a hook on Chris King, who was back checking hard. I don't think in this case King had to take a dive. He cleanly got hooked down in the corner, and Trottier was right there to even up the score.
So there'll be 4-on-4 for the next 24 seconds, and the Jets will gain a man advantage. Only 55 seconds left in the second period. The Blues 5, the Jets 4. Corson and Hall up front. Pronger and Kravchuk back. Jamnov and Tkachuk up front. Shannon and Finley back. Hall for Pronger. Watched by Jamnov. To Igor Kravchuk. Moves outside with some blocking from Pronger. Dumps it in. Going after it is Hall. Beat to it by Finley. Finley tries it for Tkachuk. Now it goes to Hall. Hall's pass goes outside the line. Pronger puts it in, and Finley goes to get it. Manson's out of the penalty box. The Jets are the man advantage. 26 seconds in the period. Finley dumps it in. Tkachuk and Pronger. It goes free. Jamnov shot. That went wide. Manson pinches in. Lost his stick. Kicks it back. Numminen with it. Dumps it in. Solani leaves it. Jamnov thought Solani was going to take it. Vice versa. Down with it is Numminen. He dumps it in. And play is called as Numminen gives Corson a bit of glove, and now they have some words.
Well, it's good to see Teppo Numminen getting his nose in there, and you know, he's really become a very very all-rounded, full player. This year he's contributing more on offense, doing his thing on defense as he's known. Rarely can he be faulted on defense. Corson gets the elbow up a little bit on Newman, and he gives it right back to him. He says, I'm not going to take that.
That is just a ceremony now with a minute or a second and a half left in the period, and the face-off outside the St. Louis line. It was 4-2 after the first. The Jets tied it 4-4 in the second, and then less than a minute after the score was tied, Brett Hull got about the 17th rebound off Shovelday and put the Blues ahead, and it runs out the period.
Well, Tim Shovelday, he's done all that's been asked of him since coming into the game. You know, this guy, I think, so far he's played a very solid game. I think he's going to maybe say a few things about getting the guys going on the offensive end tonight, but he's done a great job. Players going to be giving him a pat on the pads, and he's got a lot to do with keeping the score within one.
When the third period starts, the Jets will be on the power play for a minute 4 seconds. Joe Pascucci is standing by. His guest at the intermission, Dale Howard-Chuck.
They've hung everybody on this planet out to dry, including you and me.
There's nowhere to run.
What are they?
We got a new kind of screamer.
Nowhere to hide.
Once it gets inside, that's where the killing starts.
And no way to escape.
Get out of here!
On Friday,
There's a way off this planet.
the last scream you hear will be your own. Screamers. At theaters Friday.
Ceilings, walls, floors. Fibro Contact, the new all-purpose mop from Atlantic Essentials. Fibro Contact reaches new heights in cleaning. The mop head comes off easily, uses less water, less detergent, and reattaches in no time. Its microfiber's cleaning power works perfectly on grease and tough stains, even in hard-to-reach spots. Ceilings, walls, and floors. The rotating head makes cleaning a snap. And it's machine washable. Fibro Contact for all your deep cleaning needs. For your own satisfaction.
Hey, Miles, nice shot. You know where the best Super Bowl party in town is going to be? Boogie's. Tackle some of Boogie's world-famous ribs, some authentic Montreal smoked meat sandwiches, and much more. All for just $10 at both Boogie's locations.
Also win prizes include an autographed helmet from the Super Bowl champs. CKND will be broadcasting live, too.
Boogie's Super Bowl Bash, January 28th.
It's going to be a big hit.
At Vernos Auto Body, they know your car is more than just a car. It's one of your largest investments. And since you wouldn't let just anyone drive it, why would you let just anyone fix it? Vernos Auto Body has over 40 years experience utilizing only state-of-the-art equipment and the highest quality products. And now as a member of Auto Pro Collision, you can receive immediate financing through our National Auto Pro credit card to assist you in large repairs or simply help with your deductible. For your next auto body repair, trust all the work to Vernos Auto Body, setting the standard in auto body repair.
High-scoring game here at the arena, and the St. Louis Blues leading the Winnipeg Jets by a score of 5-4. Let's take you back to the first period, and a goal by Dale Howard-Chuck will make the score 3-1. This is goal number 497 of Dale Howard-Chuck's career. Now, let's go back in time. Let's go back to 1981. There's Dale Howard-Chuck. Nice move. And that, Dale, is your first National Hockey League goal, and Dale Howard-Chuck has joined us here in intermission, and Dale, a lot of miles have gone in between those two goals.
Oh, that's cruel, guys. I remember that goal vividly. I think it was Steve Baker, and the defenseman I faked was Carol Vadnais. I mean, that one sticks out in my mind probably forever, but noticed I had quite a bit of hair sticking out of the side of my helmet there, too.
You're just looking it back nowadays.
Yeah.
Dale, what about your days here in Winnipeg? What are your memories?
I enjoyed it. You know, it's sad to see the team leave. I summer north of here in Gimli, and you know, the Jets will always be a big part of my life, my family's life. I mean, myself and my family were treated excellent out here, and you know, it became almost felt like I come from here now, and it's going to be tough to see it go, but I guess that's just the way things are, and it's going to be sorely missed.
The fans always treated you good?
Yeah, they did. The media sometimes, I don't know, but no, I enjoyed the people here. People were very gracious all the time, and you know, at times, you know, they let you know if they weren't pleased, but that's just honesty.
All right, for someone who's got 497 goals, I hate to say that you're not shooting enough, but are you shooting enough this season?
No, probably not. I mean, with the style we play, I mean, we make safe plays, and although tonight we certainly haven't. I mean, we get a two-goal lead on the road. We got to learn to win those games and make the safe plays, and we haven't tonight. But that's what this team has to do. I mean, over the years, I've definitely learned, you know, it's always fun to have the offense, but defense wins championships.
Well, Dale Hawerchuk, thank you very much for joining us here in the second period. Take one more look. Let's go back to 1981, the first goal of Dale Hawerchuk's National Hockey League career. Coming up next, here you see it. That's Carol Vadnais, and he beats Steve Baker. Dale Hawerchuk's first National Hockey League goal. Coming up next, a CKND Newsline update and Dirt Devil tribute.
Dad, you worked late.
Oh, all night. You need any help?
No.
Good. 'Cause I'm too tired. You could use some help.
Thanks.
When a puck is flying at you at 90 miles an hour, you've got to stay totally focused. I can't let hunger get in my way, so I grab a Snickers.
Packed with peanuts, milk chocolate, and caramel. Nothing stops your hunger like a Snickers.
Excuse me, coming through.
When your stomach growls, wolf one down.
Now that the holidays are over, it's time to pay your bills. Need a break? Get 10 pieces of KFC chicken plus fries and gravy, now just $13.99. KFC's affordable hot meal deal.
This CKND Newsline update is brought to you by MTS.
Here are some of the stories making news tonight. The provincial government is being bombarded with petitions and rallies aimed at preventing proposed cuts at community hospitals. Newsline's Peter Chura will have a report on the latest event from the legislature tonight. They call him the human forklift, and tonight Winnipeg's Randy Kotick is honored as a hero for helping the unfortunate. Winnipeg records its second motor vehicle accident fatality of the year. The Manitoba Government Employees Union is told to expect almost 200 layoffs this year. City Council stopped short of passing the Work Here, Live Here policy and refers it back to EPC. Newsline's David Giroux is covering that. How to get a job in these tough times, Newsline's Nicole Forrest will have a report. Complete news following Molson Jets hockey on CKND, Winnipeg TV.
It's one thing to claim that there's nothing more reliable than MTS Advantage 800 service. That over 99.99% of all calls on our long-distance network get delivered to their destinations. But what does that really mean to you and your business? Well, it means that the only way you're likely to miss a call is if you don't answer it. Advantage 800. Everything in business should be this reliable.
This Sunday, it's a star-studded special episode of Friends.
How come you're watching a rabbi play electric guitar?
I can't find the remote.
Julia Roberts, Jean-Claude Van Damme, Brooke Shields, and Chris Isaac join the hottest cast in television.
No big deal? No big deal, okay. In Bizarro World.
Right after the Super Bowl on CKND Winnipeg TV.
Dirt Devil presents Red Hot Trivia. Brought to you by Dirt Devil, makers of the MVP vacuum. Nothing escapes the power of a Dirt Devil. Which player in the 70s won 3 Hart trophies without winning a scoring title? We'll have the answer right after this.
We're proud to announce that this model not only passed that famous ball bearing test, it surpassed it. It's the Dirt Devil MVP with maximum vacuum power. Just think what it can do in your home.
With the power of an upright in the palm of your hand with a Dirt Devil hand vac. It's lightweight, powerful, and has a revolving brush to deep clean any surface. Put it to work for you, and you'll see why nothing escapes the power of a Dirt Devil. Which player in the 70s won 3 Hart trophies without winning a scoring title? Need a hint? He played his entire career with one team. There were only 5 winners of the Hart Trophy during the 1970s. Bobby Orr won 3 consecutive Hart Trophies from 1970 to 72, but he also won the Art Ross Trophy in 1970 and 1975. Phil Esposito won 4 straight scoring titles, and he won the Hart Trophy in 1974. During Montreal's dynasty later in the decade, Guy Lafleur was the dominant player, winning 3 scoring titles and 2 Hart Trophies. In 1979, the Islanders' Brian Trottier won his only scoring title and MVP. The only other player to win the Hart Trophy in the 70s was Bobby Clarke, who led the Flyers to 2 Stanley Cups and won 3 Hart Trophies in the process.
Well, the scoring title was never a high priority for me or for any of my teammates. Actually, under Shiro, we were taught that you play for the team. If the team wins, then you're successful. And all of us believed and bought that. And it was successful for us all.
Bobby Clarke, 3 Hart Trophies without ever winning a scoring title. Another Red Hot Trivia. Brought to you by Dirt Devil, makers of the MVP vacuum. Nothing escapes the power of a Dirt Devil.
Promotional consideration provided by Optex Binoculars. Superior quality, deluxe features, excellent value, all backed by an industry-leading no-fault warranty. See your retailer today.
Let's find out what's happening around the National Hockey League, courtesy of MTS. 8 other games on the skid. Let's start with the Sabres and the Whalers, 2 teams right now fighting to get into playoff position. The Sabres leading by 1 in the 3rd period. Pittsburgh over Ottawa 4-3. Jacques Martin, the new head coach of the Ottawa Senators, made it in from Denver. He is behind the bench for Ottawa tonight. Philadelphia and the Rangers, they are tied at 3. Mark Messier has a goal and 2 assists in that game. Chicago leading Toronto 2-1. The Blackhawks 6 points ahead of the Maple Leafs in 3rd place in the overall Western Conference standings. Detroit over San Jose 4-2. In the 2nd period of that game, the Sharks did not get a shot on goal. Calgary Flames have been on a tear since Gary Roberts returned. They lead the Islanders 1-0. Roberts assisting on the goal by Patrick. The Stars and the Oilers tied at 1. Nieuwendyk, the former Flame, with a goal for Dallas. And a little later on, it's Anaheim and Vancouver. And here at the arena, the Blues leading the Jets by 1. You are up to date on the NHL, courtesy of MTS. Let's get their thoughts on the 2nd period. Let's go upstairs to Kurt and Kerry.
Well, Kerry, 5-4 after only 2 periods of play. It looks like we're into one of those last shot on goal wins the game type things.
Well, it looks that way, but Tim Cheveldae is playing very strong in goal. The Jets have got to get things going offensively, but on St. Louis's side, they're playing a very strong road game. Very difficult to come out and defend a 1-goal lead going into the 3rd period. They're going to have to be careful about going into a defensive shell and letting the Jets build up momentum. So we'll see how this unravels.
At the beginning of the broadcast, you talked about the importance of Norm McIver. It was certainly evident when they didn't have him in the 2nd period on the power play.
Well, that's right. He went down with that stick injury to the mouth, and it was evident the Jets really had a tough time not only getting the puck out of their own end, but then setting up on the power play. They weren't getting set up and creating shots and opportunities on the net. It just wasn't happening, and I think a lot of that has to go to Norm McIver being missing on the point. Their quarterbacks in the dressing room.
Well, the Jets will start the 3rd period with a man advantage. We'll see what happens in a moment. Stay tuned here on CKND, Winnipeg TV.
Dead batteries, flat tires, stuck cars. They're facts of life.
fact is, 140,000 Manitobans depend on their CAA membership every year. For over 90 years, we've been providing the finest emergency road service.
Right on time, fast, and we were happy to see them.
Face facts. You may need our help today.
For everywhere you go today, go with CAA.
Sportsline is the place to be for the best sports coverage every night at 11, right here on CKND Winnipeg TV. Of course, we have all the highlights every night, as well as detailed coverage of the local sports scene. That includes the Safeway Select Provincial Men's Curling Championship coming up next month in Brandon. We're going to be all over that story. You could be our guest here in Brandon that week, win tickets and free accommodation here at the Trails West Motor Inn. Watch Sportsline for details on how to enter.
Boy, the sports announcer stuff is tough work, isn't it, girls?
If you Sportsline.
Hi, Joe.
Molson Jets Hockey on CKND is brought to you in part by Reimer Express, Park Pontiac Buick GMC, and by Athletes Wear.
Well, Terry Simpson wondering what he's got to do here to get the power play going to open this period. Norm MacGyver has not returned. Actually, I'm going to change that. Norm MacGyver has just come on the ice, so Terry Simpson has probably revamped, told the guys, look, we got to settle down, we got to concentrate on getting the shots on the net. Let's go back to the simple power play. They've tried the fancy stuff, passing around, trying to thread the puck through the seam. Let's get Norm MacGyver back on the point, quarterbacking this thing, concentrate on just taking shots to the net, get Tkachuk and Solani in front of the net, look for a deflection, a rebound, just to bury the puck in the net.
So the second period summary, the Jets came back to tie it up on a goal by Timo Solani, his 24th, and Darren Turcotte from Temple Newmanen, his 10th, and then Hull from Corson and Mateau, Hull's 28th. And in that period, the Blues outshot the Jets 13-9.
Canadian Tire has great prices on everything you need. Plus, earn Canadian Tire money with every cash purchase of merchandise. Great prices made better at Canadian Tire.
So the Jets with a man advantage for a minute 10 a second now. They trail by a goal. MacIver gives it to Newman and back to MacIver. He works it up the middle, now gives it back to Newman, who drives it into the St. Louis zone. McInnes had it go by. Here's Solani back to MacIver as Tkachuk's in front. MacIver winds it up. Here's Solani's shot. McInnes knocked it down. Solani puts it into the corner. Tkachuk in behind the net. Corson takes it. Corson's around it, flipped it to McInnes. He sends it ahead. Brett Hull breakaway. Hey, way out of the goal is Tim Chevalier to knock it away. Here's Tkachuk. Gets it over. Solani, backhand. Cure the save. In behind. And the puck is cleared all the way down the ice. A daring move by Tim Chevalier turned the play around quickly, and the Jets with Solani had a big opportunity. Now MacIver gives to Newman. He moves to center. Dumps it in. Pronger back. Penalty is over. Solani trying to hold it in. It's taken by Noonan. He's checked by Shannon. It goes to Shamnov. He's checked. Howard Chuck looking for some room. Howard Chuck shot off Finley and wide. Cook now trying to center, and it's taken by Shamnov. Shamnov gets his spawn as center. Puck is caught up in feet. Finley flips it high and all the way down. That'll be icing against the Winnipeg Jets.
Well, Tim Chevalier anticipated the play that resulted in a breakaway with Brett Hull. Brett Hull picks up from Al McGinnis. What a great job. Brett knocks that one right out of the air, but Tim Chevalier, anticipating this, was right up in front and got to the puck before Brett Hull. Turns around, comes back the other way immediately. And Timo Solani gets a great backhand on the net, but Grant Fuhrer is equal to the task.
The Blues have outshot the Jets 30-18 to this point in the hockey game. The Jets started the game with Nikolai Hababulin, lifted him after the Blues made it 3-1. Before the first period was half over. Now King moves to center, 3-on-2 with Finley and Eastwood. Dropped it to Finley. Backhand that went wide. Captain King comes up with it again. Dumps it to the corner. Eastwood tried it for Turcotte. Turcotte to King. Pass in the air, couldn't knock it down. Shannon in behind for King. It goes now for Eastwood. Finley pinches in. Knocked by him. Turcotte backs him up. Lets it go over top. King moves in to the corner. Eastwood shot. Hit the side of the net. It's in behind. Turcotte in front. Sure, the save as Eastwood charged in. Now Noonan dumps it into the Jet zone. Back to get it is Shannon. 2.5 gone in the third. 5-4, the Blues lead. Finley's pass goes, as it turns out, to McInnes. He lets it go. Not too much on that one. In behind the net is Finley. Gives it to Korolev. Grinding for Solani. Puck free. Here's Hull. Fakes it. And is checked by Shannon. Check. Looks at Solani. Solani was helped to the ice, I guess I should say, by Shane Corson, and he's going to go to the penalty box. Corson is.
Well, we'll see some good work again by this line of King, Eastwood, and Turcotte out there. Grant Fuhr still making some good saves, but that past flurry of that line is exactly what the Jets have got to get going this period. That line has been working the quiet zones extremely well. If they don't have an opportunity to move it to the net, they leave it in the corner. Another player cycles in so they see the opportunity to get it out in front and get a bang, a shot, whatever they can get on net. But Grant Fuhr continues to just put up a barricade in the crease. There you see on the right-hand side of your screen, Shane Corson is all over Solani. Might as well have thrown him a rope, but Trottier was right there to call the 2-minute penalty.
So the Jets with a man advantage. Newman is back with McIver up front. It is Zhamnov with Tkachuk and Solani. Newman gives it to Tkachuk. He moves it to center. Gains the line. Dumps it in. Behind the net, McInnes trying to clear. McIver and Mateau collide. Puck goes to Zhamnov. Solani. Tkachuk scores!
You couldn't do it better on the blackboard. Norm McIver stands it up right at the blue line. Zhamnov picks it up, zips it across to Solani. He's got Grant Fuhr at his post, puts it across to Tkachuk, and he just one-times it right, and what is left is just an empty net. A solid playmaking opportunity for the Jets. Even though I was commenting earlier about just trying to get the shot towards the net, these guys at times work the puck around extremely well. Tic-tac-toe, and just a fantastic play.
20 into the season for Keith Tkachuk, ties at 5-5. Now the puck is flipped by the Blues. Here's Howard, Chuck after. He lets it go wide. Puck is along the boards in the Jet zone, dumped at the net, and with it is Manson. Manson's pass, that goes to Stapleton. Stapleton to McKenzie. Shot. Blocked by Pronger. Pronger and McKenzie after it. Now Howard, he's checked. Trying to jam it in is Eastwood. Eastwood comes up with it again. Now dumps it toward the goal. And Howard Chuck gets it ahead. It's taken there. And center ice by Kravchuk. Tried it for Courtnall. Stopped by Manson to King. He gives it to Eastwood. He gives to Stapleton. Stapleton trying to work by McKinnon. It goes behind. And Kravchuk. 4:14 gone in the third. It's tied up. McInnes hammers it from center. Now Malgunas gives it to King. Sent back to center. With it, McInnes. Ahead for Hudson. Dumped in deep. Newman with Noonan after him. Puts it to the other corner. Hudson bumps with King. King trying to tie it up. And he does. This is your Molson hockey telecast.
Freedom, freedom. Independent. What it is,
At McDonald Auto Body, we know what it's like to love your car. We've been in love with cars for over 50 years. And we're proud that our customers recommend McDonald Auto Body because they love the work we do and our written guarantee. So when your car needs body work, show how much you care.
I love my car.
We've been in love with cars for over 50 years.
Well, Keith Tkachuk is on a tear, 10 goals in his last 8 games, and Ron Klemenko is a benefactor on that last one. He entered Score and Win at Safeway, along with a proof of purchase from Kleenex Facial Tissue. Congratulations, Ron. Courtesy of Tkachuk, you've won a GE Spacemaker 2 microwave oven. Mike Hudson waiting in the face-off circle for the arrival of Darren Turcotte. 5-5 the score. 4:40 gone in the third. Puck along the boards. Now Gunas trying to get it out. Hudson gives it to Roberts. Puts it in deep. Here's Noonan with Roberts in front. Noonan looks in front, feeds it. Olczyk can't get it. McInnes holds it in. It goes deep. Here's Noonan with it. Noonan to McInnes. He hammered that one, and Chevrolet kicked it away. Back at the blue line, Pronger trying to dump it in. Puck goes free. Here's Olczyk. His pass goes off the stick of Turcotte. Turcotte and Barron hit against the end board. Turcotte trying to kick it free. Barron manages to get it to McInnes. McInnes pass ahead. Taking to center ice. Roberts too far for Noonan. Olczyk can't clear. Here's Roberts moving in. Big save on the short side by Chevrolet.
Well, that was a strong play by Noonan coming in. He on that last one for Chevrolet, he drops his shoulder and goes to take the shot, but Chevrolet hadn't quite moved across yet and read that very well.
New York Rangers now unbeaten at home in 22 games. A tie tonight with Philadelphia 4-4. Corson and Shamnov into the circle. Puck goes to the corner. Corson after it. Corson looks in front. Weak shot. Kicked away by Chevrolet. Drake dumped it to center ice. Stopped there by Kravchuk. Gives it to Hull. Pass. Corson goes after it. Dave Corson centers. Hull. Mateau. Save rebound. McIver can't clear. Mateau's shot was blocked in front. It's kept in again. Pronger to Mateau. Lets it go. That went wide. Kravchuk. In deep. McIver with it. Gets it ahead. Drake to Shamnov. Gains the line against Pronger. Shamnov trying to work in front. Shamnov works with it. He centers for Drake. Drake gets it. Good shot. And Kravchuk grabs a loose puck. Gets it to Mateau. Mateau pokes it into the jet corner. Chevrolet out of the goal. Puts it over to McIver. Ahead now to Stapleton. Stapleton gives to Tkachuk. Tkachuk gains the line. McInnes stands him up. Howardchuk comes up with it. Takes it behind. Gives it to Barrett. 7 minutes into the third. The score tied. McInnes wires one wide. King against Howardchuk. King puts it ahead. And here comes Stapleton. Up to the Blues line. Goes outside. Leaves it for King. A shot. Blocked by Barron. It goes in behind. Stapleton to Eastwood. Eastwood, who's been charging the net on a regular basis, now puts it in behind the net. It goes to King. King in the corner. Behind for Eastwood. He takes it to the corner. Trying to free himself of the persistent Courtnall. Eastwood still has it. Takes it behind again. Dropped it off. Stapleton follows up. Stapleton takes a look. Stapleton in front. King puts it to the corner. Stapleton does a job on Johnson. Now Johnson gets it back and flips it away. Good pressure by that jet line of Stapleton, King, and Eastwood. King dumps it into the blue zone. Solani gives chase. Kravchuk clears. Here's Hudson to Pronger. He dumps it in. Chevrolet leaves. Numanen around. Stopped by Hudson. into the corner. Newman spins his man around. Now it's picked up, centered, knocked away. Roberts after it deep with Noonan in front. Roberts is checked by Korolev. Hudson against Shannon. Newman will give it another try. Gives it to Korolev. He dumped it to center. Kravchuk had his pass blocked. Pronger up to the jet line. Newman, his pass. Knocked down Roberts. Gets over the line. Dropped it off. Here's Noonan in deep. Noonan hit broad backhand. Korolev. Check. Tipped into the middle. Here's Malkunis with Talani. Malkunis shot. Here's the rebound. Talani into the corner. Talani stops. Puts it in deep to Olczyk. Back. McIver's drive. And Pure makes the save.
The Dairy Farmers of Canada present Canadian athletes to be proud of. Canadian boxer Michael Strange shares his views on the noble art of self-defense in the Olympic ring.
In Olympic boxing, it's all about speed and get your punches out, especially with the computer system. You have to come out fast because you don't want to play catch-up with this computer system. You want to, as soon as the first round starts, you want to get out there and throw the punches.
The Dairy Farmers of Canada, proud of our athletes.
Cheese ravioli, onion soup with cheese, cheese bread, cheese croissant, cheese wafers, apple with cheese, nachos and cheese, cottage cheese, yeah, celery and cheese.
You'll never run out of things to make, as long as you never run out of cheese.
Shrimp with cheese, lobster with cheese.
When you've got cheese, you've got choice.
Well, you see Mike Keenan and Terry Simpson probably trying to figure out just what kind of game is developing here. Normally, you don't see with a tie game in the third period such run-and-gun hockey, but that's what's developing here in the third period.
Well, the coaches don't like it. The fans love it. Puck goes into the corner. Drake behind the goal to Tkachuk. Tkachuk takes it. Now he's checked. Puck in behind. It's dug out by Zhamnov and dumped wide. McIver moves in. Gives it to Zhamnov. Shot. Rebound. And Pure grabbed it as Tkachuk was like a raging bull.
Well, this last play, you see the importance of winning faceoffs, and even if you don't win it clean, it's how you react to it. Zhamnov actually loses the faceoff but jumps on it. Jets get control and they continue to work it around. That whole play resulted from Zhamnov. I don't know, maybe I'm not sure if he lost the draw, maybe he planned to go into the corner with it, but possession is such a huge part of the game, results in a couple of good opportunities on Grant Fuhr.
Zhamnov, Tkachuk, and Drake up front for the face-off to the left of Pure. Howard-Chuck against Zhamnov. Off the draw, quick shot by Drake, and the save by Pure. It's dumped out to center ice, and back to get it is Manson. Pass for Zhamnov to Drake. Drake trying to be Kravchuk, cutting at the net. He put it through the crease. Zhamnov panned on a shot. Pronger to Courtnall. Now it's a hit for Howard-Chuck. Gets up. Howard-Chuck. His pass. Off McIver. Kicked away by Chevelday. McIver spots Tkachuk. He moves it to center. Gets up to the line. He's Zhamnov. Tried to pass it. Kravchuk knocked it down. McIver for Zhamnov. Bend on a pass. Howard-Chuck. A hit for Courtnall. Picked up by Zhamnov. He dumped it back in. And with it is Kravchuk. It's the midway mark of the third period. The score, the Jets 5, the Blues 5. It's dumped into the Jet zone. Manson hammers it around on the boards. That'll go all the way down. Back for it is McInnes. It's icing Winnipeg.
Well, the out-of-town scores, you see Buffalo doubling up on Hartford 4-2. And Pittsburgh in a tight outing squeaks by Ottawa.
And a final Philadelphia against the New York Rangers, a hot matchup there. And Chicago and Toronto also finishing in a 2-2 tie. San Jose falling to Detroit in a 4-2 score. And the New York Islanders getting shut out so far in the first period by Calgary. Dallas and Edmonton equal at 1 in the first period.
Now the puck is in the Jet zone. It's in behind the net. Hudson has it. Hudson trying it for Noonan. Noonan comes up, gives it to Robert. Shot. Chevelday save. Here's Hudson behind the goal. They score! Ryan Noonan.
Well, St. Louis has been working the puck very well down deep all night. It gets in behind the net, behind Chevelday. Hudson is doing a very good job working the puck, just gets it out in front. There's Noonan on the spot. You can't blame Chevelday on this. This is the Jets that got to come back. They got to sort out the players. They're getting mixed up, and it results in a goal. They've got to do a better job tightening up defensively.
$12,049 the attendance here tonight. Most years that wouldn't be very good. This year it is. Here's Mateau. Puts it back to Pronger. 6-5 the Blues lead. Puck in the center ice area. With it now is Stapleton. Stapleton chased by Hull. Puts it back to McIver to Manson. Pass goes rink wide. Grabbed by Kravchuk to Hull. Dumped in. Back forward is Manson. For King. Chipped into the middle. Eastwood. Across from Manson. Manson's long shot. Wide of the goal. In to get it Stapleton. Now King moves in. Taken by Mateau. Poke to the line. Back at center, McIver. Kravchuk. Mateau looks for Hull. Picked off by Manson. Manson fakes the shot. Was checked by Pronger. Eastwood. Now the Blues start away. With it is Johnson. Gets over the jet line. Trying to get by Finley. Who tied him up. And it's taken by King. King looks for some help. Puts it across. It goes to Drake. His pass to Shamnov. Shamnov working it alone. Shot. Sure, the save. And he smothers the rebound.
Seniors are the fastest growing segment of our population. With cutbacks and restructuring of corporations in the 90s, many are left jobless. Most often, these are highly experienced, vibrant, and energetic people, able and still needing employment. Older workers do not want to be a problem in today's changing economy. They want to be the solution. If you're looking for skilled personnel, or if you are 55 plus and looking for work, contact the Senior Citizens Job Bureau.
Play Safeway Score and Win. When the Jets score on CKND, you could win an IBM Aptiva multimedia computer, a GE Spacemaker 2 microwave oven, Dirt Devils MVP and Dust Devil from Royal Appliance, or $300 in MasterCard traveler's checks from the Bank of Montreal. You could also win a trip or two to Mazatlan, Mexico, courtesy of Canadian Holidays, Canada's largest vacation company. To enter, drop by your local Safeway, and when the Jets score on CKND, you could win. Score and win at Safeway, today's better way.
Keep in mind, the Safeway Select Men's Provincial Curling Championships are on the 10th and 11th of February at the Keystone Center in Brandon. Plenty of activity there, and it'll all be carried on CKND. You can catch all the action live.
Well, Dale Howardchuk has played a very strong game tonight. Contributed offensively, as he's expected to do.
11 goals in this hockey game, 11 different goal scorers. Timo Solani extended his string to 12 games. With the points he's accrued tonight. A goal and an assist. Howardchuk and Shamnov. Shamnov trying to work it up now. Kravchuk. It goes to Johnson. Johnson sends it to center. That goes off the stick of Manson. Chevelday out of the goal to McIver. Courtnall in. Here's Howardchuk. He puts it in front. 6-5, the Blues lead. Howardchuk in behind the Jet goal. Shamnov with him. Howardchuk trying to free himself. Shamnov stumbles. Puck goes to Johnson. Puts it back in. Manson trying to dig it out. His clearing effort hit Trunche, the referee. Now Shamnov lugs it out. Works it to center. Lost it to Courtnall. McIver gives to Manson. 7:24 left in the third. 6-5 St. Louis. Manson to Finley. Kachuk jumped in. Drake gives chase. Drake behind the goal. Kachuk follows up. Kachuk trying to work with it. Kachuk gets slashed, turns around, hangs on, takes it deep now. His pass hits the referee Trunche. Puck goes high, and it's all the way back into the Jet zone. Finley with it, chased by Roberts. Back for Shannon. Noonan and Shannon after it. It goes to Kachuk. Lead pass. Here's Olczyk. 2-on-1 with Solani. Olczyk shot. Your save. And the rebound sent out for Hudson. Off his stick all the way down. Shannon to Finley. To Korolev. To Solani. Korolev in behind. Solani and Barrett. Solani pokes it to Korolev. Back it goes to Solani. Solani's pass broken up. Mattol ahead now to Corson. Corson against McIver. Dumps it in deep. Shoveled out of the goal. Gets it around for Olczyk. Olczyk for McIver. McIver for Korolev. Pass broken up on McInnes, and back with it is McIver. To Korolev. Solani. McInnes. Hull for St. Louis. Over to Howardchuk. He puts it in deep. Shoveled out of the goal. Sends it out to center. And with it there is Kravchuk. Jumped in. 5:40 left in the third. 6-5. The Blues lead the Jets. Former Blue Igor Korolev puts it ahead. Grabbed there by Pronger. He gives it to Johnson. His shot wide. Here's Howardchuk. His shot, it's in the crease. Northloose backhand. Courtnall in front. And Dome tried it for King. And play is called as the Jet net has been dislodged.
Well, the play continues back and forth. A lot of opportunities at both ends. Here, Cheveldae misses the catch, but knows the puck is sitting there in front. He just throws himself across the crease, hoping to get a piece of it. St. Louis doesn't end up getting a shot on net, or they're able to turn the puck around and get it out of the zone.
Immediately following the game, we'll have the Olsen Cup 3-star selection. Tough night to pick stars. You got to pick them tonight, don't you?
Well, I'm sitting here scratching my head. There's been a lot of everybody, but no one really jumping out in front this evening. Everybody's doing a lot of contributing in the goals. Both sides, the goaltenders are playing very well. It's going to be a tough call, Kurt.
6-5 the score. Now, St. Louis leading. Shannon moves to center, drives it into the blue zone. Drake after it in the corner. Hit by Hudson. It's kicked in behind. Now Shannon stops it. Puts it in behind the net for Drake. Drake spins free. Gives Shamnov shot. And that was blocked. He had Pronger. Do a little shoving. Kravchuk starts out, gets to center. Gains the line. Good. Oh, is he hammered. Oh, that may be the first hit of the game. And it was a dandy by Daryl Shannon on Igor Kravchuk. Here's Shannon. Gets it ahead to Stapleton. He dumps it in. Back for it goes Pronger. Puck goes off Hull. Hull gives chase. 4:19 left in the third.
The Dairy Farmers of Canada present Canadian athletes to be proud of.
Physically, I feel stronger and stronger.
Even after a bronze medal at the 1994 World Championships, Clary McCaskill and Allison Hurst hope they can paddle to higher levels in '96.
So it's hard to explain. It just motivates me. I just want to show the world that how much I was working, and I just want to be the best.
The Dairy Farmers of Canada, proud of our athletes.
Cheese ravioli, onion soup with cheese, cheese bread, cheese croissant, cheese wafers, apple with cheese, nachos and cheese, cottage cheese, yeah, celery and cheese.
You'll never run out of things to make, as long as you never run out of cheese.
Shrimp with cheese, lobster with cheese.
When you've got cheese, you've got choice.
Stay with us tonight on the post-game show for the crunch of the game, brought to you by Bernas Auto Body, 160 Higgins Avenue in Winnipeg. If Joe Pascucci doesn't give it to Daryl Shannon, we'll demand a saliva test.
That was a heck of a hit by Shannon that he laid on Kravchuk. Give Kravchuk a lot of credit there for getting up. I thought for sure he'd be winded or out cold on that hit. That will definitely be a lift for the players. You can see Shannon on the bench. The guys were giving him a pat on the back. That's going to give these guys a boost in the last 4 minutes of the game.
Here's Korolev's shot. That goes off a skate. Now Corson comes up with it for the Blues. Knocks it out to center ice to Hull. Hull dumps it in. Going back to get it is Finley. Finley trying to free himself of Matteau. Puts it ahead now. It goes to center ice. Barron dumps it back in. And going forward is Newman. 6-5, the Blues lead. 3 minutes and 48 seconds left, third period. Olczyk to Newman. Newman gains the line. Goes outside. Puts it in behind. Korolev taking it against the boards by Barron. And the puck goes out of play.
Well, you see the importance of every 2 points from the rest of this season forward. It means jumping to the top or to the bottom if you can put together a stretch of wins. And this makes it a little more exciting for the players now as things wind down. They can see the light at the end of the tunnel, and every game is so important.
Things tightening up considerably, too, with the way the Calgary Flames have been coming on.
Both Calgary and Edmonton have been coming on. They finished on a winning streak before the All-Star break, and they're looking to continue that.
Teams coached by Mike Keenan have never failed to make the playoffs. Shots on goal, 39-28 St. Louis. The score, 6-5 St. Louis. Time remaining 3:37. Blues dump it away. Going back to get it is Manson. Dumped it out. Howardchuk tried to put it in, and it went out of play.
Well, we take a look at Dale Howardchuk. This guy is 3 goals away from 500 in his career, has been a very consistent, prolific goal scorer his whole career, and Mike Keenan continues to look to this guy to be an offensive threat all season long.
Now the Jets dump it all the way down the ice, going back to get it. Is Kravchuk behind the net, gives to Pronger. Pronger's pass to Howardchuk. 3:15 left. Blues lead by 1. And play has been called. Stay tuned following tonight's game for the Jim Gauthier Big Easy Play of the Game. Brought to you by the home of the Big Buy. Jim Gauthier Chevrolet Geo Cadillac.
Well, Terry Simpson's going to have to get his players going here for the last 3 minutes. He doesn't want to open things wide up. He just wants the players to concentrate on getting the puck deep and working it in the corners. The goal will come, but you don't want to push it. You still got to play a patient game.
Jamnov is out between Kachuk and Drake. Corson, Hall, and Matteau for St. Louis. Now McIver dumps it in. Manson charges in after it. Dewar trying to clear. Hall to Corson. Gets it to the blue line. Jamnov shot. It went just wide. Now with it is Kravchuk. Pass into the middle to Hull. Hull in front for Matteau. Checked by McIver. Hull deep with it. Back to the blue line. Offside.
Well, Dave Manson, they might be counting on him to get that big shot away these last couple of minutes. We take a look here as Pronger tries to stand up and keep the puck in the zone. Can't quite get up to it, and it results in the offside. Gives the opportunity for the Jets to get some fresh players out on the ice. this time of the game, you want to make sure that you got players with a lot of energy to keep the puck deep and run things down at the far end.
Finlay gives to Newman, and up front the Jets have Olczyk, Korolev, and Solani. Korolev gets it now to Finlay. Finlay to Solani. Solani trying to work it by McInnes. Takes it behind. Hudson takes it to Roberts. Dumped down to center. Newman in his back. To Olczyk. Olczyk drives it in. Solani puts it in front. Nobody home. Olczyk fired it wide. Finlay back at center. Pumps it in. Going back is McInnes. 2 minutes and 15 seconds left. The Blues lead it 6-5. Puck goes all the way down. Cheveldae ahead for Korolev to Solani. Solani's check. Puck in the corner. Howardchuk. It's dumped out to center. Manson with it. Puts it up the middle. Now with it is Igor Kravchuk. Ahead for Howardchuk. Manson stopped that to Olczyk to McIver. McIver moves to the line. He makes a move. Goes around a player. Dumps a bouncer in on Pure with Tkachuk on his doorstep. And 1:43 left.
Well, Tim Cheveldae is starting to get ready. I'm sure Terry Simpson will be looking to pull him out of the net any moment. It's going to be very important for the Jets to concentrate here on keeping the puck deep and not throwing a blind pass in front of the net. What happens so often late in the game, players concentrate. They think they just got to get the puck in front of the net. You'll see St. Louis crawling into a bit of a shell, tightening up and trying to keep things to the periphery. As long as Winnipeg can concentrate on not forcing the issue, take control, get it deep behind Grant Fuhr, and then work things in front when things are set up.
Jets have not led in this hockey game. They tied at 4-4 in the second. They tied at 5-5 early in the third. It is now 6-5. St. Louis, 1:43 left. Corson and Shamnov in the circle right of Grant Fuhr. Tkachuk got to it, fired it back hard, and it went between the point men. Manson has to go back to pick it up. Gives to McIver. He gives to Tkachuk. He gains the line and had it knocked away. Here's Hull moving in quickly. Hull looks back at Bateau. Here's Bateau alone. Big save by Cheveldae. Shamnov takes it to center. He dumps it in. Fuhr leaves it there. Kravchuk around on the board. It goes out to center. Cheveldae was out to the blue line. Now heads to the bench as Newman lugs it in. Dumps it behind the net. 1 minute left. Kravchuk trying to clear. Jets with 6 attackers. Finlay gloves it ahead. Picked up. Kravchuk knocks it out to center. 51 seconds. Newman dumps it in. Pronger goes back for it. Wraps it around on the glass. It goes out into the neutral zone. Racing after it is Hudson. Newman arrives at the same time. Hudson is shot. And that was blocked by Newman. 35 seconds left. Tkachuk. Newman. 6 attackers. The Jets drive it in. Solani goes after it. Kicks it deep. Olczyk down to center. Pronger clears it around. That'll go the distance. When McIver gets there, it'll be icing. 17 and a half seconds left.
Well, the Jets continue to dump the puck in, but they're not getting any support on the puck. They're getting caught flat-footed. A couple times Solani dumped it in, nor McIver dumped it in, but there was nobody there to force the issue. St. Louis just turned around, banged it up off the glass and out.
Well, the Jets now will call a timeout, and they will outline a play, and it's a play, well, we know exactly what to expect because it's worked here before. They'll try to set Solani up for a one-timer.
Well, throwing it at the empty net, Newman, one of the best with hand-eye coordination, picks the puck out of the air and gives the Jets a little bit more of an opportunity to tie this game up.
Jets will send out McIver, Olczyk, Tkachuk, Newman, Shamnov, and Solani to try to beat the Fuhrless one.
Well, Grant just loves these situations. He thrives on them. 17 seconds left in the game, and I think this is a type of situation that really gets Grant excited. He loves these challenges.
Well, Mike Eastwood will come out to take the face-off. Solani will be back. There's nothing too brilliant about this. The Blues know what's coming. Eastwood will try to pull it back to Newman, and Solani will backpedal and go for the one-timer. Jamnov and Kachuk will jam the net. That is assuming Eastwood beats Corson cleanly on the face-off. Now the puck goes in front, and Pronger wraps it around. Newman puts it in. 10 seconds. Julechek puts it across. Puck goes to center. After it, Matteau dumps it wide of the empty net, but that'll do it. The Blues have beaten the Jets.
Well, Grant Fuhr put in a solid performance. Didn't have to make that final save on the face-off, but the Jets did a good job, just weren't able to get it out in front to get a shot on net.
So stand by for the Molson 3 Stars as the St. Louis Blues defeat the Winnipeg Jets 6-5.
Score! Chris King rips one as Bridger. Second shot, big score. Trevor Linden. Back, first shot, hit. Here's a chance for
Dad, you worked late.
Oh, all night. Need any help?
No.
Good, because I'm too tired.
I know that you'll always come through.
Thought you could use some help.
Thanks.
When you buy a mutual fund, aren't you really investing in a professional money manager? Well, at CI Mutual Funds, we've got the right people in the right places. Like Emilio Bassini, advising CI's international funds. John Zechner, managing CI's Canadian portfolios. And Bill Sterling, our global strategist in New York. Each highly respected, well-connected, and performance-driven. Your financial advisor knows CI's money managers. All you have to do is ask.
Time now for the Molson Cup 3 stars from tonight's game. Third star, Mike Eastwood. He had his 8th goal of the season. Second star from the Winnipeg Jets, Teppo Numminen, 2 assists tonight. And the number 1 star from the St. Louis Blues, Dale Howard-Chuck, with goal number 497 of his career. There you see the overall Molson Cup standings. And the final score, the Blues over the Jets tonight by a score of 6-5. Joining me now, winning goaltender Grant Fuhr. And Grant, I was mentioning to Dale in the second intermission, this is like an old Jets-Oilers game tonight.
It kind of felt like it. I mean, I thought those days were kind of past, but it was that kind of a game tonight.
Now, you've played in all 46 games this season. How out of shape were you at the beginning of training camp when they sent you home?
Well, I wasn't that bad. I mean, it was good shape for me in training camp, but it wasn't up to Mike's standards, so it was the quick way of learning what Mike's standards are.
Are you confident that you'll be able to start every game and play in every game this season?
I think so. I mean, as long as I stay healthy and as long as Mike gives me the opportunity, then I'm going to try it anyway.
Okay. What is it about Grant Fuhr and this building, especially, and this team, that you seem to play some outstanding games?
I don't know. It's something about this building. The last few years, it's gone pretty well here, so I always enjoy coming in here and playing.
Big win for the team tonight.
It is. We've had the lead the last 3 or 4 road games. We've let it get away on us, so we tried to let it get away tonight, but we managed to come back and battle hard and get the win.
Grant Fuhr, good luck in the season ahead. I know you'll be able to play in all 82 games. As Grant Fuhr says, he can do it, and there's no reason to doubt that he can. The St. Louis Blues defeat the Winnipeg Jets by a final score of 6-5. Our Molson Jets telecast continues after this.
Cheese ravioli, onion soup with cheese, cheese bread, cheese croissant, cheese wafers, apple with cheese, nachos and cheese, cottage cheese, yeah, celery and cheese.
You'll never run out of things to make, as long as you never run out of cheese.
Shrimp with cheese, lobster with cheese.
When you've got cheese, you've got choice.
Play Safeway Score and Win. When the Jets score on CKND, you could win a set of quality appliances from Tefal, a 20-piece set of Mikasa fine china in the Currents pattern, a Gold Star Start Touch 2 VCR, or a Texas Instruments personal organizer. You could also win a trip for two to Mazatlan, Mexico, courtesy of Canadian Holidays, Canada's largest vacation company. Safeway's participating products, Heinz Ketchup, and Orville Redenbacher microwave popping corn. Score and win at Safeway, today's better way.
A firm, flat stomach doesn't always come naturally. We can all use some help. Introducing the Ab Toner, a portable device designed to tone, trim, and strengthen your stomach muscles. Easy to use. Slip in your toes, adjust strap to right length, and place bar over your knees. You're now locked into position, targeting only your stomach muscles. Watch this. Doing the crunch will strengthen and tone upper stomach muscles. Hands at your side, do the reverse crunch. You're now toning and strengthening the lower abdominal muscles. With Ab Toner, you're always locked in position, working only the stomach muscles. Do the oblique squeeze and watch those dreaded love handles disappear. Ab Toner, a must for your home, office, or when traveling. Use as directed. In 30 to 40 days, you'll lose inches off your waist, and we guarantee a firmer, flatter stomach. Ab Toner, complete with instructional video and direction booklet. Only $19.99 from K-Tel.
Available at Sellers, Kmart, Safeway, Home Hardware, True Value Hardware, Co-op stores, and other major retailers. Time now for the Jim Gauthier Big Easy play of the game. It came in the third period. It came courtesy of the big three of the Winnipeg Jets. Jammed off to Solani, across to Keith Tkachuk, tic-tac-toe. That one was a goal, 28th of the season for Keith Tkachuk. That tied the game at 5. That was the Big Easy play of the game, brought to you by the home of the big buy, Jim Gauthier Chevrolet Geo Cadillac.
It's so easy, big time easy.
Well, in the first game back from the All-Star break, the Jets battled from behind all night, but couldn't battle to a tie with the St. Louis Blues. Let's go upstairs here from Kurt and Kerry and get their thoughts on tonight's game.
Well, Kerry, this has got to be the kind of stuff that drives coaches crazy. The Jets go on the road last week. They yield only 3 goals against in 2 games on the road in a 24-hour period. They come home, they score 5. It's not enough.
No, it's not. You got to wonder where things are falling apart. I think tonight they struggled a bit defensively. They played a good game. They got 5 goals, but in their own end, they were struggling to sort of defining who their players were. There were a lot of mix-ups. St. Louis players were being left open, left, right, and center, right in front of Tim Cheveldae, and that's where a lot of the goals resulted.
It was basically a no-hitter tonight, and that often happens, I suppose, when there's a lot of scoring early. Everybody gets a little hungry to jam a few more home.
Well, I think that happens. It seemed to be declared a wide-open game right off the bat, maybe typical of the All-Star game. The guys were still in that mode, but I think maybe now that the Jets are going on the road, that might be a real plus for them. They've played well. The last 2 games on the road before the All-Star break, it gives them the opportunity to get together as a team, get focused. I think maybe coming into this game tonight, maybe they still hadn't gotten the cobwebs out from the All-Star break.
Yeah, you mentioned going on the road, and the last little while on the road, they have been outstanding, really. I mean, they won in Detroit, they tied in Washington, they won in Toronto. Maybe that's what they need is a good long road trip, and that's what they've got lying ahead.
Well, I think that might just be it. It'll give them a chance to concentrate, focus, get the team together. They do play better. They have played better defensively on the road. This will give them the opportunity maybe to get the get things together. I think maybe it is a real bonus for them, a plus that they are going on the road.
And Nikolai Hababulin, so hot for so long, misses 20 games, comes back. He's so hot, plays a little bit tonight, gets pulled after a 3-1 problem, didn't play all that well. What do you look for from him?
Well, Habby will bounce back from that, but I think you really got to give Chevy a lot of credit. Jumping in there, he played very well until Habby came back from his injury. He was ready to go. It's a real credit to see Cheveldae step in the net tonight and play as well as he did.
So we'll keep you posted, and we'll be downstairs with Joe Pascucci in just a moment. You're watching the Jets on CKND Winnipeg TV.
When a puck is flying at you at 90 miles an hour, you got to stay totally focused. I can't let hunger get in my way, so I grab a Snickers.
Packed with peanuts, milk chocolate, and caramel. Nothing stops your hunger like a Snickers.
Excuse me. coming through.
When your stomach growls, wolf one down.
Your best shot at winning is always with Mr. Canada's Tour and Network during the Great Western Gold Rush. Take any scheduled trip between February 14th and May 29th, and you could be eligible to win gold, coins, and prize giveaways just by riding with the winners to Casino Regina. Just $79 to $119 per person. There's $2 million in prizes up for grabs, including the grand prize of 10 ounces of pure gold. Call today for complete details and to book your seat. The Great Western Gold Rush from Mr. Canada's Tour and Network. You're the loose.
Books make you smart. CKND Kids TV wants you to join the Jets Readers Club and collect bookmarks from all your favorite Jets.
Popovich, chased by King.
Collect these bookmarks.
Doan gets it back again. Here's Doan, works in, shot, saved by T-Ball.
The more you read, the more you know.
Ask your teacher how you can join the Jets Readers Club today. Read books.
Whether you're warming up or hitting full stride, you want to look and feel your best. At Athletes Wear, we've got the best selection for all your clothing and footwear needs. No trail is too tough to tackle in these Reebok Cliffhanger hiking boots. Lightweight and comfortable with great cushioning and suede uppers. These Reebok boots are specially priced right now. Athletes Wear, still the right choice.
The choice is there. Athletes Wear. Promotional considerations provided by Waltham Watches, a name known for prestige and quality since 1857. Elegant styling and the latest in technology. A name you can trust in modern timepieces. Waltham. The Crunch of the Game is brought to you by Vernos Auto Body. And the crunch came in the third period, courtesy of Jets defenseman Daryl Shannon on Igor Kravchuk, and Kravchuk didn't have his head up, and Daryl Shannon took advantage. That is the Crunch of the Game, brought to you by Vernos Auto Body, 160 Higgins, family-owned and operated for over 40 years. Well, as Kurt and Carey said, this one mainly a no-hitter, but Daryl Shannon certainly made his presence felt. The loss by the Jets tonight, their third in a row at home, and it moves the St. Louis Blues 2 points up on the Jets into sole possession of fifth place in the overall Western Conference standings. The loss keeps the Jets closer to that pack of teams right behind them, the Vancouver Canucks and the Los Angeles Kings specifically. The Canucks are playing tonight and could move past the Jets with
best sports coverage every night at 11, right here on CKND Winnipeg TV. Of course, we have all the highlights every night, as well as detailed coverage of the local sports scene. That includes the Safeway Select Provincial Men's Curling Championship coming up next month in Brandon. We're going to be all over that story. You could be our guest here in Brandon that week, win tickets and free accommodation here at the Trails West Motor Inn. Watch Sportsline for details on how to enter.
Boy, this sports announcer stuff is tough work, isn't it, girls?
To Sportsline!
Hi, Joe.
For $3, you could probably rent a movie.
Deck of cards.
Coffee.
A quart of milk and a loaf of bread.
Not very much today, can you?
Well, I think you can get a small popcorn at the movies these days for $3.
Not much that has the same return value as a Gold Heart.
You can help many children with special needs. Your small donation to Variety will add up to big results.